game tonight. Jose Barrios and Richard Fitz match up as the Red Sox try to keep a win streak going and the Blue Jays try to snap a 3-game losing streak. First pitch, standings, a whole lot more coming up after the break. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, streaming at sportsnet.ca on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Gary, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at armstrongbirdfood.com.
Drywall, an essential part of many, many projects. It's important to get it right and start with quality materials. Essentials you'll always find competitively priced at Timber Mart, like CGC, a recognized giant in the drywall industry for over 100 years and leading Canadian manufacturer of gypsum drywall. Well established and reputable, building pros and contractors know CGC, and you get exactly what the best builders trust. That's as sexy as drywall gets. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime 365. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Out of here! Out of here! Davis Schneider wins it!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
That's what every fan base is hoping for, right? Wins and losses for sure, but having a figure or multiple guys that you can kind of feel connected to. And yeah, if it is to get done, I think that it's really, really cool for our fans, where I get the outside noise of the last couple of years and, guys that we've tried to acquire. Having a homegrown superstar, I think, is really, really cool for any fan base, and to represent an entire country, I think, for a long period of time is that much more special.
Speaking about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and his reported deal with the Toronto Blue Jays to extend for about a decade and a half. We are going to get to that soon, but first, we do have a game tonight. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's the Blue Jays and the Red Sox coming up in just a couple of minutes at Fenway Park. And Chris, this is an important series. It is just April, but the Blue Jays, coming off a sweep at the hands of the Mets, would really like to get some positive momentum going again here on this road trip.
Yeah, it's nice to see Jose Barrios on the mound tonight, but the Boston Red Sox are red hot. 22 hits last night against the Cardinals. They have a good lineup. They're a very solid lineup. They started off slowly this season. Rafael Devers, I forget what the exact numbers were. I think 0 for 15 or 0 for 17 with a whole lot of strikeouts. That's not the Boston Red Sox of current day. I think it'll be a tough game for Jose Barrios unless that sinker is being located by him. And his last start on April 1st, it was great. In his first start on March 27th, it wasn't great. If we get the good command of that sinker today, I think he'll be all right.
Devers, by the way, was 0 for 19
there you go.
To start the year. 19. We'll talk more about that coming up in a bit. And, of course, you want to hear about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. So for more on that and a couple other things, let's go to today's host, Show Ali.
Thanks very much, guys. Welcome back inside Baseball Control, everyone. Show Ali with you at our downtown Toronto studios. We wait first pitch at Fenway Park in Boston. Of course, the big news, as you heard Schneider discuss, as you heard Ben and Chris discuss, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. reportedly signing a 14-year deal worth $500 million. No deferrals, no opt-outs. Now, it's not official. Sportsnet Shai Davidi, the man who broke the news, saying that Due to the logistics of being on the road, the deal won't be officially announced until the team returns to Toronto, which won't be until Monday, because, of course, we have this 4-game series at Fenway against the Red Sox, and then 3 more starting Friday against the Orioles in Baltimore. But still, the largest deal the franchise has ever handed out, by far, dwarfing both the largest deal to a free agent in George Springer and the largest extension in Vernon Wells. Either way, a momentous day for the Blue Jays organization. Let's check in with Shai himself. He joined Blair and Barker earlier. We'll check in with him very shortly. Oh, here we go. We can get to him now. He'll join Blair and Barker earlier to discuss the $500 million man, Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Shai Davidi joining us. Did you get any sleep?
A little bit. Tonight there should hopefully be a good night, though.
It's always better when these things happen on the road, isn't it? Less distractions than at home, and
well, it was percolating while I was on a plane, which wasn't
that's not
ideal.
Good. No, that's not good.
But it worked out and held off, so it was an interesting day for sure.
When did you get a sense, Shai, that this was going to get done? Whether or not it was going to get done last night, or early this morning, but that it was going to get done.
Well, I don't want to say that I was 100% certain that it was going to get done all the way, because there's been so much back and forth that I wanted to be careful with sort of the dribs and drabs of information. That this, I just felt like this could have gone sideways. I mean, it was such a process to get to this point. So it felt like in the last week that they'd crossed a bit of a Rubicon, that they were gotten some of the big stuff settled and that it was going to get locked down. But this, in theory, not that it should have been easy, but in an ideal world, I think you're doing this last October as opposed to now, or at least doing it at the beginning of spring training. And the fact that it took until now to get here just, I think, symbolizes how difficult some of that process was. So I don't know that I ever felt like it was a lock, but, ultimately the two sides wanted to be together, and it made too much sense for them to not be together. So, they found a way and got it across the finish line.
Do you have any sense as to what role ownership and the people above Mark played in getting this across the finish line? Look, it's a lot of money. Obviously, they're going to be in the loop. More than in the loop, they're going to be driving the bus. But I think a lot of people will look at this and go, there's always seemed to be a reluctance on the part of Mark to get this thing done, and now it's done. Do we have any sense of how many people were involved in getting this across the line? We know that the agents, Barry Praver and his agency, were in town during the first homestand. We know they met with people. No, they're in I believe they're in the owner's suite, or certainly the Blue Jay suite. Do you get a sense of how this developed, sort of around Mark, or maybe even above Mark?
Well, look, unless ownership makes the decision to make this happen, it's not happening, right? No executive in the game is committing $500 million if ownership isn't actively participating and driving the bus. So I think that holds true here. Now, were there direct negotiations? Were they, maybe just sort of nudging the sides along? I can't give you the exact degree, but this is an ownership decision. It always has been an ownership decision, and it always will be at this level, be an ownership decision. So I think that would be the way that I would frame it right now. But look, this is a major decision. Like, we're talking the second largest contract ever in Major League Baseball history. Somebody beyond the general manager and even the team president has to say, yes, we're doing this. We're going to go to these points, and we believe this is the right thing for us.
Shai, help or hurt Bo Bichette re-signing with the Blue Jays because of this?
I don't think it hurts. I think it probably helps a little bit, because one, for Bo Bichette to have come back, I think this was going to be a big piece. Right? Because not only is, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. someone he said he wants to play with the rest of his career and win a championship with, do something that they've been dreaming about since they were kids in A-ball. But it also gives the Blue Jays a realer pathway to that. So I think I think it helps in that aspect. And look, the Blue Jays have a substantial amount of money coming off the books this offseason still. They're going to have a lot of holes to fill, very significant ones. So it's not that all this money is sort of like free. It's going to have to be reallocated. But I think ultimately, if you're signing Vladimir Guerrero Jr., you're not signing him so you can have a better record on the way to a 3rd or 4th place finish. Right. You're signing him to leverage him and get you into the playoffs on a consistent basis.
Do you think the slow start Vladdy's had is because of the contract situation?
You know, I can't imagine it not having some sort of impact, right? Like you think about, I mean, I get stressed out over a couple $100. You know? I mean, you know, like I can't imagine, you know, the decision here. So, you know, like, is that why he's, you know, kind of not barreled up some balls on some pitches that you think he should have put in the seats? Is that, has he been trying too hard? He certainly, you know, in talking to people around the team, they felt that they've seen his swing be a little bit bigger at times than it usually is. And maybe him trying to force things. I think even in the 9th inning against Diaz yesterday, you saw how mad he was at himself. I think he felt he should have done more with that pitch than 6-3 it. So, you know, is there a direct correlation? I don't know, but I would assume that we'll see a weight of the world off his shoulders now, maybe a different weight on his shoulders. But I think having this off the plate, not out of mind, in a sense, has to be a freeing feeling.
That's Sportsnet's Shai Davidi. You can catch the full conversation on the Blair and Barker podcast feed, which is, of course, found wherever you grab your favorite podcast. We're just a few minutes away from first pitch, so let's check out the Bet365 standings update. At Bet365, you can bet on popular markets like hits, home runs, and total bases. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19+, play responsibly. Ontario only. Entering play today, the Yankees and Red Sox, both 6-4. Both teams sharing in a piece of first place in the division. The Jays are right in the middle at 5-5. The Rays are 4-5, and the Orioles are 4-6. Before we get you over to Ben and Chris, who are standing by for the call of today's game, let's get to the Blue Jays starting lineup. Bo Bichette is batting leadoff as usual. He is at shortstop. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the new $500 million man, batting second at first base. Anthony Santander is DHing, batting third, batting cleanup. Andres Jimenez at second base. George Springer is in right field, batting fifth, batting sixth. Alejandro Kirk, he's behind the dish. Will Wagner's at third base, batting seventh. Nathan Lucas in center field, batting eighth. Alan Roden is batting ninth. He is in left field. Jose Barrios on the mound for his third start of the season. Red Sox manager Alex Cora, here's his starting lineup. Jarren Duran batting leadoff in left field. Rafael Devers is DHing, batting second. Batting third is Alex Bregman at third base. Tristan Casas is at first base, batting cleanup. Batting fifth is Trevor Story at shortstop. Wilyer Abreu is in right field, batting sixth. Batting seventh, Connor Wong is catching. David Hamilton is batting eighth at second base. And batting ninth, Ceddanne Rafaela in center field. Richard Fitz, who is on the mound right now with an 0-1 record, he is starting for the Red Sox. All right, we're getting close to first pitch at Fenway Park, so let's get you over to the call of the game. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. Blue Jays about to get started in this 4-game set against the Boston Red Sox. There were concerns about the weather and would they be able to play, but the tarp is off the field. The Red Sox are on it, and as Joe mentioned, Richard Fitz is warming up. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. This first inning is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Armstrong Bird Food, the reason birds fly north, feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. Red Sox enter today 6-4. The Blue Jays 5-5, and one of the more inexperienced starters for Boston will go today in Richard Fitz.
Yeah, but he's got good stuff. If you look at his stats from last year, he was 0-1 with a 1.74 ERA. Just 4 games started. But if you look at the stuff is there. He's got a mid-90s fastball. He's got that big, tight 88-mile-an-hour slider that we saw a little bit of last year, and then he's got a pretty big sweeper too. He's a tough matchup for the Jays, who are coming off their worst offensive performance of the season, so it'll be nice to jump on him early.
Blue Jays only scored 3 runs in the series against the Mets in 3 games. They'll try to do better as Bo Bichette steps into the righty batter's box to get this one going. Red Sox in white with red font, Blue Jays in their royal blues with gray pants. Fitz, a right-hander, takes a breath, nods, takes another breath, and now into the wind. He kicks and deals. First pitch is hit high and deep right center field. Ranging back, Rafaela, the center fielder, and he slides into the wall to make the play. What a catch on pitch number 1. Rafaela got into the slide, slammed into the fence, and held his glove up to the heavens, taking extra bases away from Bichette. 1 out.
Well, another good swing from Bo Bichette, who's been really hot lately. Takes that fastball at 97 and hammers it into the gap in right. But Cedon Rafaela, what a play.
That looked uncatchable for Rafaela, but somehow he got there. So there's one quick, loud out. The pitch to Vlad Guerrero Jr. up top, ball 1. Time of the first pitch, by the way, was 6:46 Eastern. It's 3 degrees in Boston and cloudy. Potential rain coming up later. The wind in the 1-0. Breaking ball called strike.
There's that big, tight slider. That's a tough pitch when he gets on top of it.
Even in the count, 1-1 against Guerrero. 1 out, bases empty. Fits' pitch. Swing and a miss. Sportsnet Shai Davidi reporting, I believe today, it was late hours of the night, but I think it was past 12 a.m., that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and the Blue Jays in agreement on a $500 million 14-year extension. No fancy stuff, no opt-outs, no deferrals. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Strike 3. Guerrero goes down, but obviously, Chris, huge news from the perspective of the Blue Jays.
Yeah, and as a Blue Jays broadcaster, as a fan, I think that I really like the move. Obviously, you lock up the face of the franchise, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., one of the best hitters in Major League Baseball, and in my opinion, one of the best guys. And Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro, I mean, they got it done. You got to give it to them.
2 outs, the pitch to Anthony Santander. Inside, ball 1. Home plate ump tonight, Alex Tosi, Ron Kolpa at first, Corey Blazer at second, Manny Gonzalez at third. Right on left, the pitch. High, ball 2. It's a lot of doubt whether that extension could get locked up with Guerrero, especially after the initial deadline of games starting in spring was not met. 2-0 pitch, check swing, pitch was high, appealed at third, and he did not go. 3-0.
I like that you mentioned that there's no opt-outs. There's no funny business. Vlad wants to be here for 14 years. He wants to be in Toronto, and it's really as simple as that.
The 3-0. Called strike.
You were talking a little bit about the Juan Soto contract yesterday and how there's an opt-out after 2029. I think that's crazy.
The 3-1. Fouled back, 3-2 wide.
If I'm the GM of the Mets, if I'm the owner of the Mets, I'm in the room with Juan Soto. And of course they want Juan Soto on their baseball team. There's no doubt about that. But if I'm offering you $765 million, dude, take it or leave it.
Right.
Like, no funny business. You know what I mean? It just seemed like a little much. That's why I like the Vlad contract more.
Full count, 2 outs, bases empty. Pitch to Santander is hit foul. First base side into the camera well.
And I don't know how you feel about that. Maybe I'm I guess a little bit more annoyed by that than some people, but
I think it just demonstrates how much leverage Soto had over both New York teams playing them against each other. 3-2 again. In the dirt, ball 4. Santander will take his team-leading 8th walk of the year.
That's a good take. A good at bat from Santander. Took some tough pitches. That was a good changeup from Richard Fitz. A 3-2 pitch. Was able to lay off it.
Obviously, people looking for more from Santander, but on top of the notorious slow starting, which I know can tire on people, he is seeing the ball well. You can't walk like that without doing it, so you hope that translates into more hits going forward. Andres Jimenez swings at the first pitch he sees, grounds it foul, 0-1. No score, top of the first. 2 outs and Santander on first base.
And also keep in mind that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hit .219 last year with 2 homers and just 10 RBIs in April.
Guerrero a strikeout victim this inning. The 0-1. Check swing, pitch was down and in. That was another sweeper, I think it was. 1-1. Sweeper, slider, 4-seamer, curve, occasionally sinker change from Richard Fitz. 25-year-old from the stretch, the pitch. Fastball on the outside corner, 1-2. Native of Alabama, 6'3", 230 pounds, pitched at Auburn. And was actually drafted by the rival New York Yankees in the 6th round in 2021. It's part of that Alex Verdugo deal before last season. Here's 1-2. Low, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That's a good pitch right there. Down and away. Even better take from Andres Jimenez.
16 pitches so far for Fitz. A deep line out, a strikeout, and a walk. Here's 2-2. Way outside, ball 3.
It's surprising how many sliders and sweepers he throws, because he does throw hard. His fastball sits 94 to 97 miles an hour. But watching him, even early on in this ball game, you can see that fastball is very straight. Not a ton of life through the zone.
Is 3-2. Santander on the move, and the pitch is low, ball 4. Back-to-back walks.
Really good take. Connor Wong actually caught that baseball and took a couple of steps back to the Red Sox dugout. But watching it back, that was very clearly below the strike zone. A good call.
This is the one thing about Richard Fitz. You mentioned the breaking balls. He throws the sweeper and slider more than anything. He's got really good stuff. He just doesn't seem to strike out guys nearly enough for the stuff that he has. In his very brief Major League career, he has 13 strikeouts in almost 27 innings. His pitch to George Springer with 2 on and 2 out. Check swing, called strike, 0-1.
And that could be a number of things. It could be deception. It could be sequencing. Sometimes pitchers get into a rut when they don't know what pitch to throw in a certain situation. He could be in the zone too much. That also takes away from those strikeout numbers.
The 0-1. Fouled off for the home plate umpire, Alex Tosi. It also hit Connor Wong. And George Springer is trying to argue here that there was catcher's interference and the point is going to be made. Down to first, pointing Alex Tosi, and he's saying catcher's interference. So no at bat for Springer. That'll be an error on Connor Wong. So it actually wasn't a foul that hit Wong and then the home plate ump. The bat hit Wong, the ball hit the home plate ump, and the bases are loaded for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, and there's 2 outs in this inning. So this is a big spot for Alejandro Kirk coming up. He was 2 for 4 in yesterday's ball game, obviously seeing the ball well, but bases loaded, 2 outs in this inning. Let's get a good swing on a baseball here as Connor Wong is being tended to.
Wong, one of the more productive offensive catchers in baseball last year. He's a big part of this Red Sox team. Training staff looking at him now. You mentioned Kirk. There is a little bit of a lineup change today. The lineup is fluid from day to day, but Springer moved ahead of Alejandro Kirk today, when previously in a lineup similar to this, you would have had Kirk 5, Springer 6. And the funny nature of baseball, you bring Springer up in the lineup, and then all of a sudden the big spot's going to Alejandro Kirk, even though you moved him down.
Gotta love baseball.
He finds a way to trick you. Meanwhile, on the field, some concern for Connor Wong. It looks like his pinky finger, or the joint closest to his hand on his pinky finger, is what they're testing out right now. He seems to be in some pain. He's looking away as they're putting pressure on it. Crouched down right now, but they're still testing out that hand.
He must have really reached out and tried to catch that baseball. Normally when a catcher is called for catcher's interference, it's kind of just a tip of the end of the glove. You rarely see the actual bat hit into the hand inside that glove. That's a bad play. If you're the Red Sox, you're thinking, why are you reaching all the way to catch that baseball? Connor Wong shaking his head there, obviously not happy with himself, but something you don't really see that often.
He's going to get a test toss here from Fitz to just make sure the hand is all right. And Fitz re-loosening up a little bit after the stoppage. To recap the inning, Bo Bichette hit the first pitch into the gap in right center all the way to the wall, but Cedon Rafael in center made one of the best plays we've seen all season so far, out in right center, sliding to catch it. Then Vladimir Guerrero Jr. struck out, so it was 2 outs, bases empty. Back-to-back 3-2 walks for Richard Fitz, and then the catcher's interference on the second pitch to George Springer has loaded the bases for the Blue Jays. And here's Alejandro Kirk with 2 outs. Fitz from the stretch, the pitch. Swing and a pop-up, right side foul territory. Leaning into the Red Sox dugout is Casas, but it's going to drop in there. Foul, 0-1.
Well, good thing for Alejandro Kirk. There's not much foul territory at Fenway Park. Helping him out a little bit.
Yeah, Casas couldn't get that one if he was lying on the railing going in. That was about 7 feet deep into the dugout. So 0-1, no score, 2 outs, bases loaded, top of the first. And the pitch. Swing and a fly ball left field, backing up Jarren Duran. Now he's racing in, and he'll make the play to end the inning. No runs for the Blue Jays, no hits, but they did have 2 walks and a catcher's interference. They leave the bases loaded. Scoreless game after the top of the first. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Sportsnet.
What's up, baseball fans? Thank you so much for coming back and hanging out here at Toronto Sports Insider for every single game of the Blue Jays season, this 2025 season. You're home for all things Toronto sports right here on TSI. It's finally here, opening day for our Toronto Blue Jays. After an offseason filled with roster moves, expectations are sky high. Be an electric atmosphere at the Dome, and we'll be breaking it down right here on Toronto Sports Insider. Be sure to like, subscribe, and jump in the chat and talk some Blue Jays baseball. Let's go Blue Jays! We'll see you in the chat.
That's better. Earn and redeem Scene Plus points during the Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno sale. On now at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
Breaking news coming in Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. He gets Verdugo for his 7th strikeout.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Bottom of the first inning, no score between the Blue Jays and Red Sox. Jose Barrios making his 3rd start of the year, 0-1 with a 6 3/4 ERA and 10 2/3 innings pitched. Coming off 5 2/3 with 4 hits and 2 runs allowed against Washington. He starts off with the left-handed hitter Jarren Duran. The pitch. Swing and a line drive, left field. Racing back, Rodin leaps at the monster, and it bangs off the wall. Rodin down on the warning track. Duran races to second. He'll stop there. It's a leadoff double.
Well, that was an awkward attempt catching that ball up against that green monster, but Nathan Lucas does a great job running all the way over from center field to pick that ball up, keeping Jarren Duran at second base. What a heads-up play from him, a smart baseball player.
Should note for Alan Rodin, his first appearance at Fenway Park, dealing with that monster is going to be a challenge probably all series. So after 1 pitch, Duran on second and Rafael Devers up. Barrios deals. Slurve high and outside, ball 1.
And keep in mind, that monster is not padded.
No, far from it.
It was almost like Alan Rodin was going to jump up against the wall to try to catch that baseball, and then realized at the last second, oh, this is a hard wall. I could hurt myself, and kind of stopped from crashing up against the wall.
1-0 is fouled off the glove of Kirk, 1-1. We talked about it a little bit before the game, Chris, but Rafael Devers, he's been almost the light switch for this team. They start 1-3 in their 4-game set against Texas, and he really struggled. 0 for 19 with 15 strikeouts. 1-1 to Devers. Swing and a ground ball to second. Picked up there by Jimenez. Duran takes off for third, and the throw to first in time to get Devers 1 out. Since that 0 for 19 for Devers, he's 10 for 19, and the team has won every game. Red Sox going from 1-4 to 6-4 in a flash. Alex Bregman to the plate, runner on third, one out, infield in. No score, bottom of the first. Right on right, the pitch. Inside, ball one.
In last night's ball game, we mentioned that the Red Sox had 22 hits against the Cardinals. Jarren Duran was 3 for 5. Rafael Devers was 4 for 4. And Alex Bregman was 4 for 5. How about that?
That's top 3 production. And Bregman has been great to start the year. The 1-0 is popped up. Middle of the infield grass. Andres Jimenez calling for it. Drifts toward first base and makes the catch. Huge out there of Bregman, 2 down.
Yeah, really good sinker on the inside part, almost on the black. The Blue Jays had the infield in. Obviously, that's not what you want to do. Worst case scenario is you either strike out or you pop up to the infield. But if you're Alex Bregman, I mean, that's worst case scenario. You want to drive something there or hit something hard through that drawn-in infield.
So the infield can back up now. Still the threat of Duran on third, but 2 outs. No score, bottom of the first. One of the few Red Sox still struggling a little bit at the plate. Tristan Casas about to come up. Left-handed hitter is 6 for 36 to start his year. He does have 2 doubles and a home run, but he struck out 13 times. Barrios kicks and fires, and it's a slurve low, ball one. Casas, a first-rounder by the Red Sox, 26th overall in 2018 out of a Florida high school. The 1-0. Just inside, 2 balls, no strikes.
And I'm not coming right at him here if I'm Jose Barrios. It's obviously a hitter's count, a fastball count here, but I'm not throwing anything that he can drive with that big run standing out at third base.
The 2-0. Low, 3 balls, no strikes.
Yeah, Jose Barrios was thinking the same thing there. Threw a 2-0 changeup. I've said that a million times, but that's the best pitch in baseball. If you can just throw that changeup, make it look like a fastball right down the middle, bottom of the strike zone, more often than not, someone's just going to roll over and hit a ground ball.
He is in a 3-0 hole now to Tristan Casas. The right on left pitch. Called strike. He threw a 3-0 changeup. And he got the outside edge for strike one.
Yeah, he wants no part of this fastball count against Casas.
If he walks him, the on-deck hitter is a right-handed hitter. But it is Trevor Story, who when healthy can be very dangerous. Runner on third, 2 outs. Barrios steps back onto the rubber, looks in, and now sets at his belt. The 3-1. Swing and a line drive. Snared on a bounce by Wagner. Skips the throw over to first in time. Good pick by Guerrero, backhanded side. And Wagner put just enough on it to prevent the run from scoring and end the inning. Leadoff double by Durant, stranded on third, no score as we go to the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
As a sports fan, I just want the games. Right now, it's practically a full-time job to figure out which bundle I need. But with the SiriusXM app, it's done the bundling for me.
It is gone, a grand slam!
I don't have to go anywhere else to get every MLB, NFL, NBA, and NHL game. When there's a college game on, I just search for the school on the SiriusXM app.
Holy smokes, what a play!
With the all-access plan in the SiriusXM app, I've got the sports world in the palm of my hand. No bundle required.
The world's most thrilling league is now in the palm of your hand. Hear every English Premier League match all season long on the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favorite team.
Including the Tucson Hybrid and Tucson Plug-in Hybrid. 3.99% financing. And how more than 9 out of 10 Tucsons sold in the last 10 years are still on the road today. Now that's a hat trick. Conditions apply. Visit HyundaiCanada.com or your local dealer for details.
I'm Ray Ferraro. I'm a retired NHL player. After 18 years, my knees and feet had just had enough. Day-to-day was filled with some sort of pain. Kintex changed everything. What they've shown me is custom orthotics and the proper footwear provide comfort, confidence, and care in every step. The relief was immediate. Now I'm pain-free and active. Let Kintex join you on your journey to stay active. Check them out at kintec.net.
Mommy
Hola, soy Andrés Jiménez y estás escuchando el béisbol de los Toronto Blue Jays en la cadena de Radio Sportnet. Mami, tú solo escribes.
The second inning is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet. You can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. The pitch to Will Wagner. Called strike out of the hand of Richard Fitz, 0-1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. No score between the Blue Jays and Red Sox. Top of the second. Probably both teams feel they should have got on the board in the first. The 0-1. Swing and a bouncing ball up the middle. Right there is the shortstop Story playing behind the bag. He throws to first. 1 out.
Yeah, that's a tough break for Will Wagner. Hit that ball perfectly up the middle, right by Richard Fitz. But again, Richard Fitz does a good job not trying to catch that baseball. He knew exactly where Trevor Story was playing. Right behind him, he makes an easy play for out number 1.
Outside of the walks, strong start for Richard Fitz, who is not allowed to hit yet. He's facing the number 8 hitter, Nathan Lucas. The pitch. Hit foul off to the left, 0-1. Lucas 1 for 9 this year. Left-handed hitter looking out at Fitz, the righty. The 0-1 inside. So great start to his career for Richard Fitz. Began last year with 3 straight starts where he did not allow an earned run. Only 2 runs total in that time. He took that scoreless streak into Toronto as Lucas fouls off a pitch there to make it 1-2. And the Blue Jays in his 4th career start did get to him. 6 hits, 4 earned runs in 5 innings. Snapped a scoreless streak of about 19 innings in a row, 18 2/3 to be precise, or at least an earned runless streak to start his career. His 1-2. Just outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. In that start on September 25th at Rogers Center, Alejandro Kirk really got to him. He hit an RBI double and then a 2-run single. 2-2. Breaking ball in the dirt, ball 3. You also had a double from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in that game to set up the Blue Jays' first run and an RBI single from Ernie Clement. With 1 out, Fitz is 3-2. Hit back foul.
And like I mentioned earlier, Richard Fitz does have good stuff. So when you get your chances, a lot like the Blue Jays had last inning, although they had the bases loaded with 2 outs, a little bit more difficult, you have to capitalize. You have to score guys with less than 2 outs at second base in scoring position.
3-2 is popped up. Left side foul. It's going to go into the seats. Still 3-2. Fitz had a quality start in his first start of the season, 5th start career, 6 innings against the Texas Rangers, gave up 3 earned runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts. The 4K is a career high. His 3-2. This one popped up foul again and into the seats by Lucas. And Fitz once more demonstrating while he is very effective, he's having trouble putting guys away and getting strikeouts. It contributed to the 2 walks in the first inning.
Yeah, the more I watch him, the more I realize that he's just in the zone too much when you should be out of the zone.
Gets a swing and a miss on a heater there, and there are 2 down.
That's not a bad pitch, but not a great pitch. A 3-2 pitch should be down and away, a little bit of sink to it, but that was just a 4-seamer on the inner third. Nathan Lucas is probably saying to himself, I should have hammered that baseball, a very hittable pitch, but I'm pretty sure that's why Richard Fitz doesn't strike as many guys out as he probably should.
2 outs, top of the second, nobody aboard. The pitch to Alan Rodin. Down and in, ball 1. Rodin, the left fielder today, and number 9 hitter. 7 for 22 to start his year. That's .318 average. 1-0. Swing and a line shot caught at third by the Gold Glover Alex Bregman. That'll do it for the top of the second. Fitz gets the Blue Jays in order. Middle of 2, no score. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. The baseball fan hanging out with us, most preferably a Toronto Blue Jays fan, hanging out with us here at the best live hangout every single game on Toronto Sports Insider. Attention Blue Jays fans, if you are looking for wall-to-wall coverage of every single Toronto Blue Jays game, this season, you're at the right place. Real-time reactions, game breakdowns, and all the latest news on our Blue Jays. We're covering every pitch, every home run, every big moment all season long, and we want you here for the ride. So hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a game, and plus, join in on our live chat streams. Let's make this a Blue Jays season to remember. Go Blue Jays, go. We'll see you in the chat.
Tackled their reno project, like bringing their living room into this century with 25% off Canadian-made Beauty Tone Pure Interior and Specialty Paint. Or tackling that bathroom reno with up to $200 off Max Shower Units. That's better. Earn and redeem Scene Plus points during the Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale. On now at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Hurts smacks it down the left field line. This one's got a chance. It's good.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Last of the second, Blue Jays in Boston taking on the Red Sox. No score. Thanks for tuning in tonight. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Trevor Story to lead it off for the Red Sox against Jose Barrios. Right on right. Barrios with a breath in the pitch. Fastball in there, 0-1. Red Sox hoping and praying for a healthy year for Trevor Story, something that has not happened since he signed with Boston. 0-1. Called strike, 0-2. First year with the Red Sox, 2022. He played 94 games. 43 in 2023 and 26 last year. Story asks for time, now steps back in. Open stance for the right-handed hitter. Leaning back slightly, he faces an 0-2. Down and away, ball one.
Yeah, when healthy, Trevor Story obviously has a ton of power. Playing in Colorado in 2018, Ben, you can think what you want about Colorado, but in 2018, Story had 37 homers, 108 RBIs. Then 2019, 35 homers, 85 RBIs.
It's the 1-2 on the ground is short. Bichette charging, and he'll throw to first, one out.
So the Red Sox are obviously just waiting for this guy to play a full season. With that green monster, it's almost like Trevor Story was meant to play at Fenway for a full season.
I mean, even you look at 37 and 35. Sure, he plays at Coors Field. Even if that's 27 and 25, you're one of the better power hitting shortstops in baseball.
I think people forget when they think about Colorado, when they think about Coors Field, half the games are on the road.
Right.
It's not all the games at Coors Field.
First pitch to Wilyer Abreu. Called strike, 0-1. Wilyer Abreu, one of, if not the best hitter in baseball through the first 10, 11 games of the season. Batting .483 right now, the 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. That's 14 for 29, 3 doubles, 3 home runs, 12 RBIs. Barrios kicks and deals and misses in the dirt.
So while most guys are a little bit slower to start in April, Wilyer Abreu decided not to be.
Certainly. The 2-1. Abreu hits it in the air down the left field line, and it'll be 2-2 as that one gets out of play off the bat of the left-handed hitter.
It's a really good pitch there. 91 with the fastball. The velo's down just a little bit. It's a cold night at Fenway, but a fastball count. He decided to throw that sinker down and away. Perfect location, right on the black outside. Two balls and 2 strikes, 1 out.
And the base is empty in the bottom of the second. Scoreless ball game. Barrios looking in, deals home. And it's fouled back into the netting right behind home plate. A couple fans jump out of the way for a second, 2-2.
Hey, man, you would have jumped out of the way.
I know you would have because I've seen it.
I would have. I didn't say I wouldn't have.
It's all right. Gloves next homestand. They're coming. The 2-2. Slurve called strike 3. Missed his spot, but hit the top corner. And there's two down on the first strikeout of the day from Barrios.
Well, Abreu didn't like that call, but watching that slow motion replay, it might have clipped the top portion of that strike zone. Not Jose Barrios' greatest slurve of the night, but like you said, he missed his spot, but that's a perfect miss.
Tried to go down and in, landed it at the upper and outer part of the zone, but hey, it works all the same. So 2 outs now, and it's a pinch hitter in the catching spot. Carlos Narvaez is into the game. First pitch, called strike. Connor Wong had been in, but Wong hit on the hand on a catcher's interference. Out of this ball game now. The 0-1. Popped him up. Near short, Bo Bichette creeping in toward the infield. Grass makes the catch and ends the inning. Very tidy, 1-2-3 for Jose Barrios. We go to the third, 0-0. Blue Jays and Red Sox. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Gary, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at armstrongbirdfood.com.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Vlatty rocks the ball to left field. The Blue Jays have gone back-to-back-to-back.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The third inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Prince George, BC, and Calgary, Alberta. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986. So protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. It's the top of the third at Fenway Park. The Blue Jays and Red Sox tied at 0. Bo Bichette up. Richard Fitz into the wind. Here's the pitch. Hit back foul, 0-1. Bo 0 for 1, but really shouldn't be. Absolutely torched a ball to right center in the first. Cedon Rafaela made an improbable catch, to say the least, to take the hit away.
I actually thought he got that baseball to right center.
0-1. Bichette hammers this one to left center, and no one getting in the way of that ball. It bounces into the wall. Bo around first. He's chugging for second, and he'll get there with a stand-up double.
Well, Bo Bichette should have 2 doubles in this ball game. Obviously seeing Richard Fitz's fastball really well. Actually, that wasn't a fastball. That was a breaking ball. That was a slider that Richard Fitz left up, but he hammered that thing to left center.
For Bichette, it's double number 4 on the season, and now Vladimir Guerrero Jr. up. You know, it's funny. Yesterday, Blue Jays in New York, they're cheering Vlad because the Mets want him, the Red Sox want him. Today they boo him after the reported extension. No outs, runner on second. Fitz's pitch. Swing and a fly ball right side, slicing out of play 0-1.
Kind of sounded like Vlad broke his bat. I guess not. He's not going back to the dugout.
He definitely got that one off the end of the bat. He bounced the barrel off the ground for a moment, so he seems to like what he has. Guerrero with 4 RBIs on the year. 10 for 40, still looking to heat up in the early stages. The 0-1. Down and away, 1 ball, 1 strike.
That's a good take. That's the pitch that Vlad really has to lay off of. That tough slider way off the plate outside. For whatever reason, early on this year, early on last season, he was offering at that slider. A good take from Vlad right there.
The 1-1. In the dirt, took the same pitch, a little bit lower, but similar pitch. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Yeah, I guess it's probably frustrating for him, for John Schneider, whoever's working with him. If that ball out of the pitcher's hand is a ball, why are you swinging at it? And that's really the thing that happens to him early on in the season.
Now he faces a 2-1. Inside, ball 3. Started the hands, but yanked him back to not swing on that heater. And Guerrero in a hitter's count, 3-1. First base is open, but if you walk him, it's 2 aboard with no outs for Anthony Santander. Fitz kicks and deals. Inside, ball 4, and they'll take that chance. First and second, nobody out. Anthony Santander coming up.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about having protection behind Vlad is even if a pitcher pitches around Vladimir Guerrero Jr., you still have Anthony Santander coming up to score those runs. Hopefully he hits a ball in the gap or let's see him get into one.
Santander has 10 career home runs at Fenway Park. The only ballpark he's hit more out of is Camden Yards, his home field for all those years with the Orioles. Guerrero on first, Bichette on second. The switch hitter Santander batting left. He walked his first time up. Fitz with a peek at second. One more look. And now an offering. Called strike.
I actually like this matchup. Santander has been struggling recently, but Fitz's fastball's relatively flat. Mid-90s, like we said, good velocity, but there's not much life through the strike zone.
The 0-1. Spiked it way in front of the plate, but a good block off the chest by Narvaez. Runners stay put at first and second. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Elements starting to play a bit of a factor here as at least a little bit of precipitation appears to be coming down in Boston. And Fitz is going to step off. You can't see it regularly, but if you look up at the lights, or if we get a look of the lights, then you see the droplets going by. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Really nice breaking ball. Landed at the bottom of the zone. It's 1-2.
Yeah, that's the bread and butter right there. He's got the sweeper and he's got the slider. Both of those pitches he leads with, and that one right there was a good one.
They play off each other well. Similar spin, similar velocity. Sweeper's more east-west. Slider's more north-south. Or I guess the sweeper would be west to east rather than east to west. 2 on, nobody out. Fitz kicks and deals. And Santander hits it back foul. It was another slider, and that time he was all over it. After 3 runs total in the 3-game series in New York, the Blue Jays would love a hot start here. They had the bases loaded in the first with 2 outs, didn't score. They have first and second with nobody out here in the top of the 3rd. Another 1-2. Swing and a ground ball fielded at first by Casas. His only play is to flip it to Fitz for the out. Runners advance to second and third. Guerrero and Bichette respectively. 1 out.
Well, nobody in that dugout when Anthony Santander is up at the plate is saying, "Hey, let's hope he hits one to the right side and moves those runners into scoring position, both of those guys. But I think the way Anthony Santander is swinging the bat, you'll actually take that as opposed to striking out and not moving those guys up.
A productive out at least.
Right. But that's not generally what you want your 4-hitter to do.
Certainly.
Sorry, your 3-hitter.
Here is the 4-hitter, Andres Jimenez. Yeah. Infield is playing back. Second and third, one out. Only guy in is the third baseman, Bregman. The pitch. Swing and a high fly ball, right field. Backing up, Abreu still going onto the track. Makes the catch just in front of it. Bichette's going to tag from third and come home. And the Blue Jays take a 1-0 lead on the sac fly from Andres Jimenez.
And looking back, that's why that ground ball out was such a productive out from Anthony Santander. If there was nobody at third base, Bo would have just gone from second to third, and the Blue Jays wouldn't have scored a run there in that situation. That's why it's such a big play, such a productive out from Anthony Santander.
So the Blue Jays take the first lead of the series. Guerrero also advanced on the fly ball from second to third. So it's Vlatty on third, 2 outs, 1-0 top of the third, and the pitch to George Springer. Swing and a line shot foul just past Springer's former teammate Alex Bregman, 0-1. Vlatty had to duck down, almost get into the splits to get out of the way of that one.
Whoa, right by his head.
Guerrero back up, leading off third base in the 0-1. Swing and a miss on the sweeper, 0-2.
Yeah, there's that good sweeper. Looked like a strike outside and just darted to the left. Big cut from George Springer, too.
No balls, 2 strikes. Fitz set at the bell. Shrugs the shoulders, kicks and deals. Swing and a liner headed toward left field. That's down for a base hit. Guerrero jogs home. Springer up to first with an RBI single. It's 2-0 Blue Jays.
And look at that pitch from Richard Fitz. It was an 0-2 count, and it was too good of a breaking ball, too close to the strike zone. You have to expand the zone. When you have a big run at third base, you have to either go above that strike zone or below that strike zone. Richard Fitz throws way too good of a pitch there, and George Springer was right all over it.
Especially in an 0-2 count, he had all of the real estate still to throw some big misses and decided not to. First pitch is a big miss to Alejandro Kirk, way outside, ball 1. He could have bounced a pitch, went over the zone with a fastball. You always want your young pitchers to throw strikes, but there is still a point where you're throwing them too often. 1-0. Swing and a liner to right center field, and that's down for a base hit. Springer will stop at second. You got to respect the arm of Wilyer Abreu, but it's a hit for Alejandro Kirk. Third knock of the inning for the Blue Jays. First and second, 2 outs.
Yeah, good job from Kirk, just going the other way. Didn't really get all of it. Kind of got it off the end of the bat a little bit, but perfectly placed. Just laid that thing into right field.
Might have been to his benefit that he didn't get all of it because Abreu was hard charging. And after the Kirk single, it's going to be Andrew Bailey, the former Red Sox and former All-Star, going out to the mound to talk to his pitcher, Richard Fitz.
Talk about a guy whose career was cut short. Andrew Bailey, man.
Really good player, especially in his early years. A really good pitcher. Oakland Athletics was where you probably remember him most. Rookie of the year in 2009. Back-to-back All-Star appearances in 2009 and 10. Blows for 3 years with the Athletics and then bounced around a little bit after that.
Yeah, we did. We actually looked at his career last year, I think, when we were talking about Andrew Bailey. And he only played for 5 or 6 years, and that was it.
Relief pitching.
Well, he was hurt. He was hurt too, yeah.
But even still, relief pitching, you never know from year to year. First and second, 2 down, top of the third, 2-0 Blue Jays. Here's Will Wagner. A look at second from Fitz in the pitch. Hit foul, and Wagner down in a heap. He lined that off of his lead right ankle, and he is still down on his hands and knees, getting back up slowly now. It's 0-1.
And keep in mind, it is a cold night, so I'm sure that hurts just a little bit more than it would. But Will Wagner doesn't have any protection on that ankle like a lot of guys do, so he's hurting right now.
He doesn't have any protection at all.
Yeah, no elbow, no nothing, no hand. I like the hand protection because it's so easy to break a bone if you get hit in the hand. The top of the hand protection, I think, is the most important one.
He lined that right off either the top of his ankle or the bottom part of his shin bone. And he's crouching down now. Jose Ministral, head athletic trainer John Schneider talking to him. Looks like Wagner's going to stay in this game.
Have you ever hit a ball off your shin?
Yes, but not that hard. Not nearly that hard. It hurts a lot.
I have knots, not a lot, but a couple of knots in my shin that I got when I was in college. That's how long they last.
Wagner back in, though. That's great to see for the Blue Jays. First and second, 2 outs. And the 0-1 pitch from Richard Fitz. Never mind, it turned into throw to second. And Springer back with a dive.
Well, I don't think Springer's going anywhere. 2 outs in this inning. You never want to take a chance and make the third out at third base. You're already in scoring position. There's really no need to try to take that base.
Springer should score on a Wagner single to the outfield. The 0-1. Called strike, fastball right down the middle, 0-2.
I bet he wants that pitch back. That was a 4-seamer straight as an arrow right down the middle.
Almost like he was sitting breaking ball there.
Yeah, he was fooled.
The 0-2. Breaking ball, hit foul. Wagner 7 for 25 to start his season. 280. 2 doubles, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. The 0-2. Outside, ball 1. Wagner, like many Blue Jays, has the balaclava, but while he's hitting, it's more of a scarf. He's pulled it down to put his helmet on. George Springer has most of his face under a balaclava out at second. The 1-2. In the dirt, blocked off the chest by Narvaez. Springer holding at second. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That was a really tough block. That ball was way out in front of home plate. Almost impossible to block, but he did such a good job keeping that ball in front of him.
It's the second one that Fitz is basically cricket bowled to the plate, bouncing it feet in front of home plate. The 2-2. Fouled off to the right. Blue Jays have fought a lot today with 2 strikes, and Will Wagner doing that right here.
Yeah, Richard Fitz is already at pitch 59, about to throw number 60 in this ball game, and we're in the top of the 3rd inning with 2 outs.
Fitz kicks and deals. Swing and a liner out to center field. Rafaela backing up toward left center, makes the catch and ends the inning. The Blue Jays get a pair on a pair of hits. Bichette starts it off with a double. George Springer knocks in a run with a single. It's 2-0 Blue Jays, middle of the 3rd. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Because sometimes the music needs to speak for itself. Set the mood with instrumental channels on the SiriusXM app. From smooth jazz and epic orchestras to lo-fi beats and high-energy rock anthems. Find over a dozen instrumental channels available anytime, at home, on your phone, computer, Alexa, TV, or other internet-connected devices.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
In a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio, every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Out of here! Yohei Ohtani Connect.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
We begin our quest for another championship right now. Winning is everything. It's all there is.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
In season or out of season, the number 1 place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Radio Network.
2-0 Blue Jays as we go to the bottom of the third inning. Toronto in Boston taking on the Red Sox for the first of 4. Jose Barrios will deal to David Hamilton. First pitch outside, ball 1. Hamilton getting the start tonight at second base rather than super prospect Christian Campbell. With Easton Lucas scheduled to go tomorrow, a left-handed pitcher, you'd likely see Campbell tomorrow. 1-0. Outside, 2-0. But a nice year for David Hamilton, breaking through to the majors really for the first time consistently last year. Played in 98 games with the Red Sox. 2-0. Down and away, 3-0. Mid-200s batting average, 25 extra base hits, and the big thing, he stole 33 bases, was caught only 4 times.
Yeah, definitely a guy that you don't want to have on the base paths.
The 3-0. High and outside, ball 4, 4-pitch walk.
That's just that. It seems to me like that's an issue with Jose Barrios. Not only this year, but last year as well. He'll deal through a couple of innings, maybe get 2 quick outs in an inning, and then just completely lose it and throw 4 balls nowhere near the strike zone. And now he has a guy in David Hamilton that's a burner and will likely try to steal second at some point during this at bat.
Cedar Rafaela up. First pitch inside, ball 1.
Now he's thrown 5 balls in a row.
Only once did he get to a 3-ball count in the first 2 innings. He was mostly ahead of the Red Sox hitters. 1-0. Hamilton takes off. Pitch called a strike. Throw down to second. Bounces away into right center. But Jimenez did enough with a deke tag to keep Hamilton at second. Hamilton also slid in awkwardly, so didn't really get up and try to run for third. It'll be a stolen base. No error on the play.
Well, David Hamilton actually got a really good jump, but the throw from Alejandro Kirk was right on the money. I think David Hamilton slid into Andres Jimenez, and for whatever reason, he didn't catch that baseball. But if he catches that baseball, they might have had a chance at him.
Yeah, it actually, I'm not sure it bounced before Jimenez or it just went off of his glove. Either way, a stolen base for Hamilton. 1-1 count, nobody out. The pitch to Rafaela way inside. He gets out of the way, moving his hips back. It's 2-1.
On that pitch there, it was almost like he was trying to be too quick, too concerned with that runner out there at second base. That's what speed does. Messes with the pitcher. You can also swipe a bag whenever you want.
The 2-1. Downstairs, ball 3. That's 7 balls and 8 pitches this inning for Barrios.
Might want to try to flip in a breaking ball. Get the feel for that extension, that release point.
Top of the order is up next, and a throwback to second. They got him. Barrios caught Hamilton sleeping. Jimenez applies the tag this time, and they erase David Hamilton from second. 1 out.
And how about that? You could actually see before the Red Sox might take a look at this, but before that pitch happened, before Jose Barrios towed the rubber, he looked at Andres Jimenez. That was definitely a play because Jose Barrios turned and threw that baseball before he ever looked at second base. What a play.
They will not review. 1 out, base is empty. The 3-1 pitch hit back foul, full count.
And how about that, erasing that first pitch, that leadoff walk.
That changes the whole complexion of the inning. Rafaela could have hit a ground ball to the right side, and that would have been a positive. Now he's trying to get on, and it's a full count. Payoff pitch. Inside, ball 4. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Don't strike out on your next home improvement project. Your team at Timbermart has the great advice and the products you need, so you'll get the job done right. Knock it out of the park and win the day with Timbermart, Canada's building center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, Show Ali, our host and producer today, and Austin Mackey, our technical director. Top of the order up, Jaron Duran to the plate. 1 out and a runner on first with a lot of speed again. Cedar Rafaela, the pitch. Called strike.
Yeah, Cedar Rafaela had 19 stolen bases last year. Not quite David Hamilton, but still pretty good out there.
He did get caught 10 times, though. So he might be a little risky to bet on for stealing a base. A peek from Barrios, and now the 0-1. Hit on the ground right side, through the hole into right field, a base hit. Rafaela around second. He'll breeze his way to third. Duran going for second, and he dives in safe. Springer through to second on the fly, but the speed of Jarren Duran and the soft grounder that snuck through, too much for the Blue Jays to handle. It's a second double for Jarren Duran and second and third for the Red Sox with one out.
Well, that outfield grass is actually wet, so it slowed down that baseball. It took a while for that baseball to get to George Springer. You could see the water spraying off of that baseball, and Jarren Duran, so smart, so quick, takes second base.
One of the most exciting players in all of baseball. The pitch to Rafael Devers is called a strike, 0-1. Second and third for Boston. 2-0 Blue Jays. One out, bottom of the third. Devers, a left-handed hitter, spits from the big gob on the left side of his cheek and looks out at Barrios. 0-1 is hit well. Center field. Racing back, Lucas makes the catch on the track, pressing into the wall. Rafael attacks from third. He'll score. Duran advances from second to third. It's a sac fly for Devers. 2 outs, runner on third, and it's 2-1 for the Blue Jays over the Red Sox.
That pitch from Jose Barrios just got in enough to get in a little bit on that bat of Devers. That was a good swing. I'm actually surprised that he got to that baseball. A pitch on the black inside at 94. Luckily for Jose Barrios, Nathan Lucas catches that baseball on the track in center field.
Hit it close to the triangle out there in right center. It was more dead center from Devers. Still a tough place to hit it out. Pitch now to Alex Bregman. Called a strike, 0-1. Bregman doesn't like it. It looked bad because Kirk set up away and reached across, but it actually was in the zone, to the credit of Alex Tosi. Bregman 15 for 45 to start the year. 333 average, 5 doubles, 2 homers. 0-1. Swing and a high fly ball, shallow center. Lucas racing in. Jimenez gets out of the way, and Lucas makes the catch to end the inning. A run for the Red Sox on one hit. The 2 walks hurt Jose Barrios, but he strands Duran on third to keep the Blue Jays up 2-1 as we go to the fourth. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Embrace the power.
Start your engine.
And speed of the NTT IndyCar Series on Sirius XM.
Battle the start-finish line. Alexander Rossi goes to P1.
Hear every thrilling moment of the 2025 IndyCar season,
including the greatest spectacle.
Hey, baseball fans, thanks so much for hanging out with us this afternoon, this evening, this morning, whatever time it is, wherever you're watching. And now is the time of the show for you to let us know, where are you watching from? Where are you cheering on the Blue Jays from in this chat, hanging out with us on TSI from all over the world? Let us know in the chat your city and province, city and state, or international. Let us know what country you're watching in. And then once you've let us know in the chat, just click that link that's pinned or is flying through there. That's going to take you to our website, TorontoSportsInsider.com, where you can show and see where everyone else in the world is watching from with our cool, awesome map feature. We'll see you back in the chat. Let's go, Blue Jays!
It's former big league GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front Office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and always on the SiriusXM app.
The fourth inning is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. First pitch in the dirt to Nathan Lucas from Richard Fitz, and we're underway in the fourth. 1-0 count to Lucas, 2-1 lead for the Blue Jays over the Red Sox. The wind and the 1-0. Inside, Lucas turns to get out of the way, 2-0. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. A wet day, a cold day, but a fun start so far to this game. 2-0, low 3-0. Eight 9-1 for the Blue Jays this inning. Lucas, Rodin, Bichette, 3-0. And Lucas takes a strike, 3-1. Nathan Lucas struck out in the second. Into the wind goes Fitz, the pitch. Hit off the handle, a pop-up just behind third. Bregman out onto the outfield grass, makes the catch.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard is brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, 100% Canadian-owned and operated since 1992. Catch the new menu starting April 8th. Visit stlouiswings.com for details. You are welcome.
Tomorrow. The new menu drops tomorrow.
Well, let's go to Washington. How about that?
Sure.
Where the Dodgers are in Washington against the Nationals. Guess who hit a home run today?
I know the answer, but I would have guessed Shohei Ohtani anyway. First pitch to Alan Rodin, called strike, 0-1.
You are correct. Shohei Ohtani homered in the third inning, and the Nationals are ahead of the Dodgers 3-2. Surprisingly, the Dodgers are 9-2.
But two losses to Philly. The 0-1. Rodin bunts a ball in the air, foul, third base side. It drops in harmlessly. It's 0-2.
I feel like, though, if you're the Dodgers, you're probably... Well, the Phillies are the team that you're okay losing to if you're going to lose to anybody.
Right. Probably their biggest competitor.
Right.
0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike three. Third strikeout of the day for Fitz, 2 down.
That's a tough pitch, 96 above the strike zone. If Richard Fitz wants to get those strikeout numbers up, when he's ahead in the count 0-2 like he was right there to Rodin, you have to expand. 96 above the strike zone was almost impossible to hit.
So 2 outs, nobody aboard. Top of the order coming up. Bo Bichette at the plate. And the pitch. Called strike. One other score on the St. Louis Bar and Grill Out-of-Town Scoreboard. A final today. The Tigers defeated the Yankees in Detroit 6-2. The final score. Carlos Rodon gave up 5 in 6 innings, while Casey Mize continued his great start to the year. Bichette swings and misses out of the 0-1 pitch, and it's 0-2.
Another tidbit from that Dodgers game. It's good to see Dustin May starting again. He's had a horrible 3 years.
0-2. Bichette bounces it away, foul, reached way down and away to stay alive.
Dealing with all kinds of things. Tommy John, a torn esophagus. It's good to see him back with good stuff, too.
All of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. 2 outs, 0-2 count, nobody aboard. The pitch to Bichette. And he fouls it off again. Blue Jays up 2-1. Bichette, a big part of that. He hit the leadoff double in the third inning. Came around to score on the Jimenez sac fly for the first Toronto run today. Another 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Fitz. He's matched a career high with 4, and it's a 1-2-3, top of the fourth. 2-1 Blue Jays, middle of the inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here at Home Hardware's Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale, everyone's saving on everything they need to tackle their reno project. Like bringing their living room into this century with 25% off Canadian-made Beauty Tone Pure Interior and Specialty Paint. Or tackling that bathroom reno with up to $200 off Max Shower Units. That's better. Earn and redeem Scene Plus points during the Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale. On now at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
One of the best in the game at receiving the ball.
He's about as good of a strike zone controller as the Blue Jays have.
To a team of elite defenders, he is Captain Kirk, a game caller in unison with this pitcher.
Does he ever have a knowledge of the strike zone?
Framing pitches with precision and a steady hand.
Kirk's done it again.
Be one of the first 15,000 fans at the ballpark on Wednesday, April 30th to get your Alejandro Kirk bobble arm. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Lights up, let's go.
Breaking news coming in from 365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Blue Jays up 3-2 on a wacky play to give Toronto the lead.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timberline broadcast booth. Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host and producer. Austin Mackey, our technical director. Some Monday Night Baseball for the Blue Jays. Bottom of the fourth. They're leading the Red Sox 2-1. 4-5-6 up for Boston this inning. Starting with Tristan Casas. Here's the pitch from Jose Barrios. Called strike.
How about that? First pitch strike from Jose Barrios. He threw 5 balls to start the inning last inning. He's cleaning up that release point this inning.
Right on left, Barrios is 0-1. Swing and a ground ball to second. Jimenez down on a knee, picks it up, throws to first, 1 out.
A really good changeup there, down and away to a tough left-handed pitcher. I like that pitch right there from Jose Barrios.
Gets the lefty swinger Tristan Casas out. Now Trevor Story back up to the plate. Talked a little about the injury history already for Trevor Story, who's playing in his 11th game of the season. The pitch. Inside, ball 1. It just seems like Story wanted to change things this year, wanted to try and figure something out after 3 seasons in a row where he couldn't stay on the field. The 1-0. Called strike. Quoted during spring training saying that he's got no complaints about his body. It's time to get back into the flow. He said, quote, "I look back at 18 and 19, my best years in Colorado. That's the type of hitter I am, and I haven't shown that consistently in Boston." The 1-1. Swing and a ground ball to short. Backhanded by Bichette, throws out his fellow shortstop, 2 down.
Well, it's tough to be consistent when you're always on the IL.
And he mentioned, too, he wants to be a leader on this team. He's a guy who, you mentioned the accolades earlier, he's accomplished a lot, even though he hasn't played a ton. But he said it's hard to lead when you're not on the field, on the plane all the time, in there with the team. He said that's when it's easiest to do it, when you're there with them every single day. 2 down, the pitch to Wilyer Abreu. Changeup. Just missed, ball 1.
I mean, look at these home run totals. 27, 24, 37, 35, 24. He's got a ton of power.
Oh, yeah. The 1-0. Swing and a grounder, right side, backhanded Guerrero, underhand flip over to Barrios, Gold Glover to Gold Glover to get the last out of the inning. 3 ground balls for Jose Barrios, and he's rolling along. We go to the 5th. 2-1 Toronto. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
As a sports fan, I just want the games. Right now, it's practically a full-time job to figure out which bundle I need. But with the SiriusXM app, it's done the bundling for me.
It is gone, a grand slam!
I don't have to go anywhere else to get every MLB, NFL, NBA, and NHL game. When there's a college game on, I just search for the school on the SiriusXM app.
Holy smokes, what a play!
With the all-access plan to the SiriusXM app, I've got the sports world in the palm of my hand. No bundle required. Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Out of here! Yo, hey, Ohtani Connect!
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
We begin our quest for another championship right now. Winning is everything. It's it. It's all there is.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
Hello, Blue Jay fans. I'm Craig Ballard, host of your daily Locked On Blue Jays podcast. Locked On Blue Jays is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Locked On Blue Jays brings you the latest Blue Jays news and analysis and breaks down all of the action. Locked On Blue Jays is everything a Blue Jays fan could want, all in a 30-minute daily podcast. Download Locked On Blue Jays right now on the SXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or wherever you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will lead off the top of the 5th inning for the Blue Jays. Toronto 2, Boston won. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Guerrero 0 for 1 today, a walk and a run scored. The first game he's played since the report from Sportsnet's Shai Davidi of the $500 million 14-year extension reportedly agreed to with the Blue Jays. The pitch from Richard Fitz. Swing and a ground ball up the middle into left center field. A base hit. Rafaela races over to cut it off. Guerrero will stop with a single on the first pitch of the inning.
Well, Richard Fitz was just trying to sneak a strike in there with a little slider. And Vlad does such a good job just hitting that ball where it's pitched, hammering that thing on the ground back up the middle.
This would be a big time for the Blue Jays to tack on some runs. Third time through. You have the heart of the order up right now. After the Vlad single, here's Anthony Santander.
What do you call that face warmer thing? A balaclava?
Balaclava. It's like a ski mask. Pitch to Anthony Santander. Way up and in. He drops the bat as he danced out of the way, jogging almost a third of the way up the first baseline. It's 1-0.
Well, I definitely thought that got him, but obviously Anthony Santander not reacting. John Schneider saying play on. I think they were taking a quick look at it in the dugout.
Hit by pitch is a reviewable play. But Santander didn't react like he was hit by a pitch. Guerrero on first, nobody out. Fitz shakes off a sign, shakes off another. A third wave off, and now he's going to step off the mound. If you weren't with us earlier, Carlos Narvaez was not the original catcher today. While he was likely in on the meetings, he was called upon after Connor Wong was hit by a George Springer swing on catcher's interference in the first. 1-0. Santander rips it on the ground right side. Stopped by Casas. First baseman turns, throws to second, and back to first for a 3-6-3 double play.
That's a really tough play for a right-handed first baseman. You're throwing with that runner running right next to your throw, but a perfect throw from Casas. Gets back on the bag and 2 quick outs for the Red Sox.
With those 2 quick outs, let's go quickly to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Red Sox Pirates up 4-1 on the St. Louis Cardinals. Joey Bart started the scoring with his first home run of the year for the Buccos, and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa with a 2-run single in the game. 4-1 in the fifth as Andres Jimenez takes strike one.
And later on tonight, the Orioles are in Phoenix to take on the Diamondbacks. The battle of the Zacks. Zach Eflin and Zach Gallen.
0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
You said what, 2 pseudo aces?
Well, because, Eflin might have not been the ace if Rodriguez was healthy, and is Corbin Burns the ace or is Gallen the ace? But it is a battle of opening day starters.
That's the safe way to put it.
Yeah. Truthfully, the word ace probably used a little too much these days. Base is empty, 2 outs. 2-1 Blue Jays top of the fifth in the 0-2. High and outside, 1 ball.
I have never... And no disrespect to Zach Eflin, he's a great pitcher, but I've never thought of Zach Eflin as an ace.
Gallen probably has a better argument.
Yeah.
Both very good pitchers. 1-2 pitch is low, 2-2. Also, I know you had your eyes on that Washington-LA game. Well, Shohei Ohtani has tripled after his homer, so he's officially in cycle watch. 2-2 to Andres Jimenez. Outside again, ball 3, and again, Fitz gets ahead of a guy, but is having difficulty putting him away. It's full count. Jimenez walked on a 3-2 in the first, hit a sac fly in the third. No official at-bats today. Payoff pitch. Down and in, ball 4, another walk.
The interesting thing about that at-bat, it just seemed like Fitz was trying too hard to be perfect. But there's nobody on base. There's 2 outs. Just make a good pitch, down and away, down and in, wherever you want to throw that pitch. If you give up a base hit, so what? There's 2 outs in the inning. There's nobody on. That was just a weird one for me.
It's the 4th walk for Richard Fitz in 4 2/3 innings. His pitch now to George Springer. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Springer is 1 for 1 today. Reached on catcher's interference in the first and had a line drive RBI single to left field in the third. 2-1 Toronto with Jimenez on first and 2 outs. Jimenez is a threat to take off. Fitz peeks at him, sets, and now the 0-1. Pitch is called to strike. Jimenez takes off and dives into second base. Before the throw got there, it skips away a couple feet, but not far enough for Andres Jimenez to go anywhere else. But it's his second stolen base of the year.
Yeah, I think if Andres Jimenez looked up and picked that baseball up that kind of went into center field, he probably would have tried to take third. It was probably far enough away where he could have, but he looked into the infield, didn't look out to the outfield where the ball was.
I think his helmet fell over his face in his slide, too.
He couldn't really see anything.
He's in scoring position, 2 strikes and 2 outs. Fitz with a peek back at second in the pitch. Up and in, ball 1.
It's a big pitch coming up right here for George Springer. That's a big run standing out at second base with 2 outs in this inning.
2-1 Blue Jays. You can see the breath of George Springer in a cold night. Here's the 1-2. Check swing, pitch down and away, appeal down to first, and he did not go. Red Sox were ready to head back to the dugout. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes, though.
I think Richard Fitz just thought that should have been a called strike. Seeing that slow motion side view, George Springer very clearly didn't swing.
Now the 2-2. Inside, ball 3. Boston crowd did not like that sequence on the 2-2. It was close to being a called strike. It looked to just be a hair off the plate. Probably could have gone either way. But Richard Fitz, we've talked about the pitch count a little with all these long 2-strike battles. He's approaching 90 pitches. Runner on second, 2 outs. The 3-2 to George Springer. Swing and a rope down the left field line. Base hit rolling into the corner. Jimenez around third. He'll score. Springer trying for second. No, he's going to race back to first, and he dives back in as Duran got it in quickly, and then they nearly threw behind him to first base to get him out. It's an RBI single, though, for George Springer once again, and it's 3-1 Blue Jays.
Yeah, good swing from George Springer. Just a little curveball, it was a slider right down the middle. A little spinning slider, and George Springer hammered that thing past Alex Bregman at third base. Another good swing from him.
It is only game 12 of the season, but this is the best Springer's looked in years in a Blue Jay uniform. The pitch to Alejandro Kirk is popped up, shallow right. Hamilton, the second baseman, going out, waved off by Wilyer Abreu, the right fielder, who reels it in to end the inning. A run on 2 hits for the Blue Jays. They leave one on. Another RBI single from George Springer extends the Blue Jay lead to 3-1, middle of the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Give the new spring era retro kick with an all-new classic vinyl spring mix on the SiriusXM app. Featuring timeless classics from the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, and ELO. To feel-good anthems by Elton John, Bruce Springsteen, U2, and more. Bring the season to life with the classic vinyl spring mix. Search Spring Fever on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Out of here! Shohei Ohtani Connect.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
We begin our quest for another championship right now. Winning is everything. It's all there is.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
While you're listening to this game on SiriusXM, we're talking about the latest odds and prop bets for this and every game on Sports Grid Radio.
The under's minus 125. Heavy juice to the under.
Every home run hit and every strikeout thrown can change the line.
I can't for the life of me figure out how you can favor a team that never wins, ever.
If you're looking for sports talk centered around the latest odds and prop bets for games, races, tournaments, or any sporting event, Sports Grid Radio, SiriusXM, Channel 159.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Blue Jays Baseball is presented by Crown Rust Protection. 3-1. Toronto leads right now thanks to 2 RBI singles from George Springer, and it's Jose Barrios back out on the mound for the Blue Jays. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Jose Barrios gets the bottom third of the Red Sox order. Starting off, it's the catcher Carlos Narvaez. Narvaez, a right-handed hitter, taps the plate twice, twirls around the bat, and now brings it high above his right shoulder. Standing far off the plate, the pitch to Narvaez is hit on the ground to shortstop. Bichette picks it up, throws on to first, and there's one out.
And how about that? Just throw that good sinker, although the velocity still isn't there. You get a quick out there. One pitch, one out.
Jose Barrios has been getting quick outs really the last 5-6 guys he's faced. He's only thrown 47 pitches in 4 1/3.
And he really doesn't have his good stuff tonight. Just grinding through this start.
One out. Here's David Hamilton. He walked, stole a base, and then was picked off in the third. The pitch, he shows bunt, pulls it back, takes a fastball for strike one. That was 90 on the four-seamer from Barrios, right down the middle. Third baseman Wagner playing in the 0-1. Slurve catches the knees, strike two.
That might have been his best slurve of the day. A ton of movement. It had that tight spin. Obviously, he's found the release point for that one.
The 0-2 pitch. Low, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Another slurve there from Barrios. He's leaning on it a little bit more this year than last year, but always a big pitch for him. Now the 1-2. Slurve hit on the ground to first. Guerrero backing up, has it, sprinting to the back, just beats the speedy Hamilton by a step. 2 outs.
Probably not the guy you want to get into a foot race with. David Hamilton and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. essentially running directly at each other. And Vlad just tiptoes to the base before David Hamilton did.
Good news for Vlad is he had about a 55-foot head start, so he was able to win the race. Two down, bottom of the fifth. 3-1 for the Blue Jays over the Red Sox. Cedar Rafaela, right-handed hitting center fielder, is the batter. Barrios kicks and deals. First pitch hit foul, 0-1. Rafaela, an interesting guy when you look at this roster. Very talented. Has put up some solid numbers in his brief career, but still a little bit raw with his tools. The 0-1. Swinging a foul back, 0-2. And the Red Sox did extend him early last year. 8 years, $50 million, which he's a talented player, but you start to think about, they have Wilyer Abreu, who's a Gold Glover and a down-ballot Rookie of the Year guy in right. They have Jarren Duran, one of the best outfielders in baseball, in left. And their top prospect, maybe the top prospect in all of baseball, is Roman Anthony, who plays the outfield as well. But a back and forth, by the way, right now from the Blue Jays and Red Sox coaches and staff as the 0-2 misses down and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, Pete Walker, Blue Jays pitching coach, and the third base coach for the Red Sox are kind of just, I don't know what they're saying, first of all, but they're not happy with each other right now, that's for sure.
It's Kyle Hudson at third for Boston. Of course, for years it was Carlos Fabulous there, but now he's with the Blue Jays. The 1-2. Slurve in the dirt, 2-2. Two outs and the base is empty. Cedar Rafaela at the plate. Jose Barrios wants a new baseball. Still under 60 pitches. Barrios is 2-2. Just outside, ball 3. Barrios puts his right hand on his hip, shakes around the shoulders for a second. He wanted that one. It's a full count.
That was a good slurve right on the outside part. I think it was a little bit off. It was a good call, but Jose Barrios definitely wanted that call.
Now is 3-2. Hit foul off to the right.
94 miles an hour with that fastball. So it's in there. The velo's in there. Maybe he's just He wants to command that fastball just a little bit better, so he's taking his foot off the gas just a little bit.
Rain coming down on Barrios as he kicks and deals. And that one's fouled off again. Good battle here being put on by Cedon Rafaela. It's a sinker off the plate, down and in. He reached down to roll it away to the left. Now Rafaela will ask for time after seeing 7 pitches so far from Barrios.
Barrios still with a relatively low pitch count, 58 pitches, 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th inning.
And you end 5 innings on 60 pitches. You've averaged 12 pitches an inning. That's huge. The 3-2. Hit on the ground to third. Foul. It's fielded deep by Wagner, who skips it over there anyway. Rafaela didn't realize that ball was called foul a couple seconds ago. Some of the fans still figuring it out at Fenway Park.
And just for reference, to kind of go back to your 12 pitches per inning, a good inning for a pitcher in terms of pitch count is probably 13 to 14 pitches. That's a quick inning. So when you're at 12, that's very quick.
And 12 every inning.
Right.
You're going to typically have your 17, 18, 22 pitch inning at some point. But Barrios has not dealt with much traffic. 1 run on 2 hits and 2 walks. Another 3-2. And this one chopped over the mound. Jimenez has it, throwing from second base. He gets him out, retiring Rafaela to end the inning. Jose Barrios has generated 6 straight ground balls, and he's retired the last 8 he's faced. It's 3-1 Blue Jays as we go to the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. For our participating location, visit timbermart.ca.
Enter Night Mode.
It's a stylish Friday night in the city.
Every Friday home game.
No doubter.
Where we celebrate everything that makes our city one of a kind.
Anything that counts.
Would you always feel like part of the show? On Friday, April 18th, be at the ballpark early and get your Blue Jays City Connect Bomber Jacket giveaway presented by Enercare. The first 50,000 fans will be geared up for spring nights in the city. City Connect Fridays. Night Mode. Lights up. Let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
Law and Order Thursday on City TV.
We're charging him with manslaughter.
3 Law and Orders on one epic night.
It was premeditated. It was planned.
Law and Order at 8.
He told me to. Is not a legal defense against murder.
SVU at 9.
Covering his ass, I'd start thinking about your own.
Followed by the new season of Law and Order Toronto Criminal Intent at 10.
Nothing justifies murder. How about we start with the truth?
Law and Order Thursday, all new, 8/7 Central on City TV.
Hey, this is Bo Bichette. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Scary, spooky, hilarious, crazy, scary, spooky.
Top of the 6th, Richard Fitz still on for the Red Sox. 3-1 Blue Jays, and Fitz will face the bottom third of the Toronto order, starting with Will Wagner, the pitch. Swing and a high fly ball, shallow left, charging in Duran, and at the last second he bobbles and drops it. Wagner will stop at first. He had made a hard round but decided to go back. Awkward play, hit very high and not very deep. Shortstop Story was going out, so was Duran, and I don't know if Duran just lost it at the last second, but he was underneath it and couldn't make the catch.
Well, they were both calling it, and the outfielder has priority in that situation. The outfielder is coming in. If he calls off the infielder, it's the outfielder's ball. But I think Trevor Story didn't give Duran enough time to really realize that it was his ball.
First pitch to Nathan Lucas popped up foul out of play, 0-1.
Nevertheless, a big play for the Red Sox in this ball game.
And Jarren Duran has really come through his defensive struggles of earlier years. He was a Gold Glove finalist in center field last year. Playing more left field now, the 0-1. Bounce, and it gets away from Narvaez, off his glove and out of play. And that will bring Will Wagner up to second base.
I actually thought that hit Nathan Lucas for a quick second. I mean, it almost did.
He turned the leg away from it, but almost into the pitch, like away from the pitcher, but rotated toward the bouncing ball, but it didn't quite clip him. Runner on second, no outs, the 1-1. Breaking ball for a strike, 1-2. Thought for a second maybe you put a bunt on there, move Wagner to third, but they decided to let Lucas swing away.
Yeah, I don't mind that idea. Obviously, too late now with 2 strikes on Nathan Lucas, but that would have been a good idea.
The 1-2. Swing and a liner over the leap of Story at short into left center. Wagner had to wait. He'll stop at third. Lucas at first with a single, and that's why you don't listen to me. He could have bunted himself away. Instead, it's first and third with nobody out.
But I guess if you wanted to make an argument against the sack bunt in that situation, you have a guy at the plate that's very good at getting the bat to the baseball. Whether he gets a hit or not, that's another argument. But sometimes managers like to let those guys swing away, and there's the result right there.
Yeah, I would guess if I asked John Schneider not to put words in his mouth, he'd say there's a good chance he'd hit a ground ball to the right side anyway. Allen Roden up first and third, nobody out. The pitch from Fitz. Hit foul by Roden, a hanging breaking ball over the middle, 0-1. Roden 0 for 2 today, 7 for 24 on the season, 292. He has 2 doubles, 2 RBIs, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. The 0-1. Swing and a miss, a rare chase from Roden on a letter-high fastball, 0-2.
Yeah, a little bit antsy with that big run standing out on third base here.
Corners are in. Middle infield is back. Casas holding on a runner at first, so he's in anyway. But the third baseman, Bregman, is playing essentially even with the bag and close to the line.
Well, it seems like the Red Sox are okay if the Blue Jays get this run right now. They're okay taking 2 outs for 1 run.
That's why the middle's back. The 0-2. In the dirt, blocked by Narvaez. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
So as the hitter, when you see the middle infield back like that, and the Red Sox are okay with that run scoring from third base, you have to get the bat to the baseball. You cannot strike out in this situation.
Roden with his hands way back above his left shoulder, open stance, no bend in the knees. 1-2. Checked his swing on a pitch down and in, appeal down to third. He definitely did not go. And Manny Gonzalez agrees, 2-2.
It's a good take on a pretty tough curveball down and in.
Fitz approaching 100 pitches. He threw just over 70 in his first start. He peaks at first and then at third, and here's his 99th pitch of the start. Swing and a chopper back to the mound. Fitz looks to third, now throws to second for 1. Bouncing throw back to first, not in time. The Red Sox did enough, though, to keep Will Wagner at third base. It's a fielder's choice for Roden, who replaces Lucas at first, 1 out.
Well, that was a good job from Fitz, catching that baseball and looking back at Will Wagner at third base, making sure he doesn't go home. But I guess that's probably the one place you don't want to hit it if you're Allen Roden, back to the pitcher in that situation, because that'll happen.
Red Sox on the phone, by the way, for a second. I think that they are going to ask for a review of Nathan Lucas's slide over at second base. And that is what they are announcing. They're going to look to see if it's an illegal slide from Nathan Lucas at second. If you remember years ago, the Chase Utley slide that really changed the rules of what you can do over there. So I think the Red Sox are arguing that Lucas did not go directly to the base and rather went at the fielder. We're getting a look at it right now. And his left hand does slap the leg of Trevor Story. I don't know that there was much reason to have the hand out there. Blue Jays and Lucas might be in trouble on this one.
Yeah, that was pretty blatant there. I'm pretty sure this is a double play. The Blue Jays will have 2 outs in this inning. There was no reason for Nathan Lucas to slap that knee.
It used to be that you could kind of slide wherever you wanted and reach a hand out and act like you were going to the bag, but The rules have changed a fair amount.
Used to be able to tackle the second baseman.
Pretty much, yeah. Lucas did slide into the bag, but he reached out to his left significantly.
Yeah, there's no reason for that.
The unfortunate thing is it really looked like Roden's safe either way. I'm not sure what he did that much to Trevor's Story. Story might say different. But with the look to third and then the throw from the pitcher to second, it was going to be a tough double play to turn regardless.
And you could see John Schneider talking with Don Mattingly, and the looks on their faces are, we have 2 outs in this inning now. It's such a weird play watching Nathan Lucas slap Trevor Story's knee. There's just no reason for it.
No, you're a guy who just makes the edge of the roster. You're trying to do the little things, the extra things to keep yourself around. I'm sure many of the outfielders are thinking about Dalton Varsho and what his return is going to be. And maybe you just, in an effort to try and do something that coaches would love so much, you get a little too committed to it maybe.
And that could be a big play in this ball game as well. Going from 1 out in the inning to 2 outs now.
It would mean a fly ball no longer could score a run. You'd need for Bo Bichette to reach safely to bring Will Wagner in from third.
Although Bo's been really good tonight, seeing the baseball, driving the baseball.
And they have called interference on Nathan Lucas. So that's going to be a double play.
There's just no reason for that. I'm sure that Nathan Lucas has seen the replay on the iPad, and he's probably thinking to himself, why did I do that? Why did I reach out and slap Trevor Story's knee? There was really no reason for it.
So 2 down now and a runner on third base. And the talk on the mound right now is Richard Fitz is set to face Bo Bichette for a 4th time.
And you're right. Alan Roden would have beat that ball out by a lot, even without that.
A good challenge from Alex Cora and the Red Sox to turn first and third 1 out into runner on third 2 outs. Still 3-1 Blue Jays, top of the 6th. They'll need a base hit from Bichette or for him to get on somehow to bring in Wagner from third. Bo was 1 for 3 today with a double and a run scored. Easily could be 2 for 3 if not for a diving or sliding catch from Rafaela. Bichette steps up with 2 outs. Fitz's 100th pitch is hit foul on the ground, third base side, 0-1. Bo Bichette familiar with these confines, not only playing here, but his dad Dante played half of 2000 and all of 2001 as a Boston Red Sox, right at the tail end of his career. 0-1. Swing and a miss. Bichette reaches for a pitch up and in, 0-2.
So you're saying Bo Bichette was 1.5 years when his dad played here?
A little older than 1.5 years, but pretty much.
Oh yeah, Bo's 27, right?
Yeah, a little older. Fair point. 0-2. Swing and a fly ball out to center field. Should be rather routine for Rafaela, who's now sprinting in and makes the catch. Misjudged it initially, but he reeled it in, and that will do it for the inning. The Blue Jays benefit from a Duran error and pick up a hit, but the double play erases the rally. No runs. They leave Wagner on third. Middle of the 6th, 3-1 Toronto. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
As a sports fan, I just want the games. Right now, it's practically a full-time job to figure out which bundle I need. But with the SiriusXM app, it's done the bundling for me.
It is gone, a grand slam!
I don't have to go anywhere else to get every MLB, NFL, NBA, and NHL game. When there's a college game on, I just search for the school on the SiriusXM app.
Holy smokes, what a play!
With the all-access plan of the SiriusXM app, I've got the sports world in the palm of my hand. No bundle required.
I'm Mike Farron. If you're like me, you love baseball. You love talking baseball with your friends, and your partner on the radio is the former general manager of the Mets.
This is Jim Duquette. Join me and Mike weekdays at 10 Eastern for Power Alley on MLB Network Radio.
It's baseball, and more baseball. 100% in-depth baseball talk.
We spent an entire week once on pulled pork recipes.
It's 95% in-depth baseball talk on Power Alley. Weekdays, 10 Eastern, MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM Channel 89.
Hey, Jim Rome here. What's cracking?
Hi.
Hope you're enjoying the game. And when you're not taking in a game, find us on Sirius Channel 161, XM Channel 206. In fact, we'll be there every weekday afternoon, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you've got something you want to break down from this game, you know where to find us. Just make sure you have a take and don't suck.
Step your game up.
That has never changed. In fact, the show has never changed. We're just back home. And it's great to be there. Sirius 161, XM 206. See you there.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and always on the Sirius XM app.
Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, Austin Mackey, our technical director, Show Ali, our host and producer. 3-1 Blue Jays, bottom 6, top of the order for Boston. Jarren Durant takes well outside, ball 1. The only guy with hits today off Jose Barrios, Jarren Durant, has 2 doubles, one to left and one to right. Guy who killed the Blue Jays last year amid a huge breakout season. 1-0. Outside again, 2-0.
And he's a really exciting player. A lot of speed, a lot of power, and he's not afraid to take that extra base either, like we saw earlier on in this ball game.
Last year, he led the majors with 48 doubles and led the majors with 14 triples. The 2-0. Called strike. Chris, when do you think the last time was that someone had 48 doubles and 14 triples in a season? At least that many.
Pre-1970.
You would be correct on that. 1946.
There you go.
Stan Musial. 2-1 is hit in the air, left field. Rodin's got room in front of the monster. He'll make the catch racing near the corner. 1 out.
I'm sure Alan Rodin is excited that he doesn't have to deal with that monster to catch that fly ball there.
It's tough. You go to Fenway for the first time. You can play Rodin in either corner. You have 2 options. You either play him in front of the monster or the weirdest right field in all of baseball, where the pole is 302, and before even right center field, truly, it goes out to 380. It is a cavernous right field despite the short foul pole. Blue Jays elected to go with Springer in right field and Rodin in left field.
Well, usually when a team gets to Boston and there's a young outfielder, I guess all the young outfielders take, I would say, at least 100 balls off that green monster just to try to get a feel for it. But the only way you get a true feel for it is to take one during a game. And we saw Alan Rodin earlier on in this ball game really scuffle out there.
1 out, Rafael Devers up, Barrios kicks and deals. Low and outside, ball 1. In a sec, we'll go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, but first the left-handed hitting DH Devers faces a 1-0. Check swing on a changeup low, appeal, and he did go around, says the third base ump, Manny Gonzalez, 1-1.
That was a pretty good changeup from Jose Barrios to get Rafael Devers to swing like that.
The 1-1. Swing and a liner caught at short. Bichette, 2 outs. On that St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, still 3-2 for the Nationals over the Dodgers, bottom 7. 4-2 for Pittsburgh over St. Louis, top of the 7th. And the Mets out to an early 1-0 lead over Miami in the bottom of the 4th. All of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. New menu tomorrow. 2 outs, space is empty, bottom of the 6th. And the pitch to Alex Bregman. Down and away, ball 1. Jose Barrios just delivered his 68th pitch of the game with 2 outs in the 6th. He's twice got Bregman, wants to pop out, wants to fly out. 1-0. Swing and a miss at a good change.
Really good right-on-right changeup. He really hasn't had many opportunities to throw that right-on-right changeup tonight, but that one right there just snuck it in there for strike 2. Sorry, strike 1.
The 1-1 pitch. Hit well, left field, and that'll land near the corner and bounce up against the monster. Rodin fields it quick. Bregman going to second. The throw, not in time. Jimenez pointing back to the Blue Jay dugout. He seems to think the Blue Jays might have got him, but for now, it'll be a 2-out double for Bregman.
That was almost a perfect throw from Alan Rodin out there in left field. The Blue Jays will, in fact, take a look at this as John Schneider does little earphones to his ears. But how about that? Alan Rodin takes that ball off the fence, picks it up, and throws it perfectly into second base.
We're getting the slow motion look right now. I think he might have got him. It's close. So the bulk of the tag went to the left part of his backside, but if he got him on the calf before that, he might have had him before the foot went in. It's really close, and as we've said probably 30 times already this year, the call on the field being safe is a huge deal. They need to feel 100% sure that he's out if they're going to overturn it.
Yeah, if the call on the field is out, he's out. There's no question. But because the call is safe, I say flip a coin with this one.
The fact that Rodin even had a shot there is pretty impressive. He threw not just a hard throw, but a strike.
Overturned. The runner is out.
And he got him. Outfield assist for Alan Rodin, cutting down Bregman to a single thrown out, trying to advance. And Jose Barrios faces the minimum in a scoreless bottom of the 6th. 3-1 Blue Jays as we go to the 7th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Of all the things that Timber Mart can lend a hand to build, community ranks among the most important. And with the Timber Mart Local Leaders Initiative, we strive to recognize those dedicated to making their hometowns a better place to live, work, and play. From now to June 25th, you can vote to select our grand prize winner. They'll receive a $10,000 grant to support their outstanding initiative as Timber Mart's Local Leader of the Year. To vote, visit local-leaders.com. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
Gary, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at armstrongbirdfood.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Middle in fastball, but he puts it by Cruz. 2 down.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 7th, welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, Show Ali, our host and producer, Austin Mackey, our technical director. Blue Jays up 3-1 in the series opener on the Red Sox, and a new pitcher for Boston. Pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. Greg Weissert sidearms in the first pitch down and into Vladimir Guerrero Jr. 1-0. Another former Yankee acquired in the deal for Alex Verdugo. Weissert, the right-handed reliever, kicks and deals. And Guerrero hits it down the right field line in the air. It'll slice out of play, 1-1.
Weissert is really funky. Kind of that low 3/4 arm slot. An arm slot you really don't see that often anymore.
Closed setup for the pitcher, the 1-1. Swing and a liner, right center field, base hit. Guerrero will jog up to first. 2-hit day, and he's on for the third time.
A good swing from Vlad. A little inside-out swing right there on a slider that kind of spun over the inside part of the plate. Vlad is able to get the barrel to it and just drill it out to right field. A nice approach from him.
So a leadoff single for the Blue Jays off of Weissert. And Anthony Santander is up. He's 0 for 2 with a walk, a ground out, and a ground ball double play. The pitch. Called strike. Weissert throws a lot harder than a lot of guys you'll see from that angle. Low to mid 90s on his sinker. Also throws a four-seamer, slider, sweeper. Occasionally mixes in a change. Is 0-1. Bounced it. Backhanded stop there by the catcher Narvaez. 1-1.
That drizzle is starting to get a little bit heavier now.
Makes every inning that much more important. I don't know that we're headed in this direction, but if it got too much to play, they would cut it off either after the last time the home team hit or go back to the last inning. 1-1. Bounce, 2-1. What I mean by that, if the Blue Jays added on some runs, but they had to cut it off, they'd actually revert back to the final score at the end of the sixth. The Red Sox wouldn't have equal opportunities to hit. If the Red Sox were leading, they could cut the game off and keep it after a top of the seventh. Doesn't look like we're trending that way either way. The 2-1, Santander takes it, called strike on the edge, 2-2.
At this point, it's more so that just that miserable drizzle that you'll have to play through.
Yeah, it's been like that a couple innings, slowly building. A lot of rain ponchos today. Two. Swing and a foul back.
It's a good swing from Santander on a fastball on the black outside. It's one of his best swings over the last few days from him.
Vlatty on first, nobody out. Weissert rocks and deals. And the pitch is called. Strike 3 on the outside corner.
Well, I don't know if Santander didn't like that call or he was just frustrated. It was a perfect pitch. 93 right on the black outside from Weissert.
This seventh inning is brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. 1 out. Guerrero on first, and the pitch to Andres Jimenez. Hit foul off the catcher and then off the backstop. 0-1.
Weissert's really locating that fastball down and away to lefties.
Hasn't allowed a run this year in 5 appearances, Greg Weissert. The 0-1. Up and away, ball 1. Jimenez batting for the 4th time. Hasn't had an at-bat yet today. 2 walks and a sacrifice fly. Also a stolen base and RBI run scored. 1-1. Swing and a foul off. 1-2. Three to 1. The Blue Jays lead the Red Sox. Rain coming down. 1 out, top of the 7th. 1-2 offering is hit on the ground right side, picked up at second, backhanded flip Hamilton to Story, and that's the only out they'll get. A legal slide into second from Guerrero to break up the double play. 2 down.
Well, I don't think Guerrero's going to slap Trevor Story's knee, but a good play from David Hamilton getting the lead runner. And then, of course, Trevor Story had to put that ball in his pocket. Andres Jimenez is just too quick down the line.
Rain is picking up a little bit at Fenway Park. It's 3-1 for the Blue Jays. 2 outs. Jimenez on first, and George Springer at the plate.
Would you call that still a heavy drizzle?
It's bordering on rain.
All right.
Throw over to first. Jimenez dives back.
I just don't want to have a rain delay. That's why I'm just trying to.
I almost wonder if they've gone too deep into the game to have a serious. Like at that point, you just end the game.
Yeah.
Became an official game after 5 innings. The right-on-right pitch to Springer. Low ball 1. Wonder if they think about sending Jimenez again. They did it 2 innings ago in the exact same spot. 2 outs and George Springer at the plate.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind him getting into scoring position here with 2 outs in this inning.
The 1-0, he takes off. Pitches low and in a ball. Throw down to second. Not in time. 2 stolen bases in the game for Andres Jimenez, and now 3 on the year.
That's a good job from him. A great jump from Andres Jimenez. I was wondering if the dirt might have been wet, and he probably couldn't get the proper footing to get a good jump, but it's a good jump right there from Jimenez.
It also really slowed down his headfirst dive for the wet dirt. He got in there, but a little closer than it looked initially. 2-0 count, 2 outs, the pitch. Called strike, perfect on the inside corner. Springer shaking his head, but it doesn't get much better than that. 2-1. 2 singles, 2 RBIs for George Springer today, who also reached on a catcher's interference in the first. The 2-1 in the dirt, ball 3. Bearded righty Weiser works from the first base side of the rubber, dangling his right arm. Now he sets near his chest. His 3-1. Swing and a hard ground ball through the whole right side of base hit. Jimenez around third. Abreu bobbles it in right, and Andres Jimenez comes in to score. RBI single again for George Springer. His 3rd of the game. It's 4-1 Blue Jays.
And that's why it's so important to have guys on a roster in a lineup that can take those extra bases, that can steal a bag with 2 outs. Andres Jimenez with the good jump with the stolen base. And then again, George Springer, such a good approach going the other way for a huge run in this ball game.
That was a risky send with Wilyer Abreu, one of the best throwers of the ball in all the majors, picking it up, but he fumbled the transfer. First pitch now to Alejandro Kirk, called strike 1.
But again, Carlos Fablis is a smart third base coach. He knows that the grass is wet. He knows that that ball is going to be hard to throw all the way to home plate. And with the good send there from Carlos Fablis.
0-1. Just outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. For Greg Weiser, that's the first earned run he's allowed in almost 8 months, 9 months. Went on a big streak to end last year. 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Big hack from Kirk on a middle away fastball. Weiser ended last year with 16 2/3 with 1 unearned run allowed, and started this year with 5 straight scoreless appearances. Gives up a run there, though. It's 4-1 Blue Jays. Springer on first, and with 2 down, the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a foul off to the right.
I can tell you why he doesn't give up many runs. His stuff isn't really outstanding. That fastball 92 to 94, but he locates arm side down and away really, really well to lefties and then inside to righties. Almost unhittable.
One, 2. Fouled back by Kirk. Reached up and away for the fastball to stay alive. You can hear the grunting from Weiser. 23 pitches for him in the inning.
Yeah, like we mentioned earlier, a good outing for a reliever. Anybody really, starter reliever, 13 to 14 pitches. So obviously 23 is a lot of pitches for him.
Another 1-2. Swing and a ground ball over the mound. Diving block by Hamilton at second, but it rolls away from him. It's an infield hit for Kirk, and Springer is safe at second.
I think that ball might have hit him in the arm. He might have overslid that baseball, and it hit him in the arm. I'm not sure. We're seeing the replay right now, but
you might be right. He got up quite gingerly off the ground. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that bounced up, either hit him right on the heel of the glove or got him on the arm.
I mean, regardless, he overslid that baseball. He was laid out for that thing, and I think at the last second realized he was kind of in between.
Now he's covered in dirt, getting it off of his hands as the inning continues. A third Blue Jay hit of the frame. Toronto with 9 hits today, leading 4-1, 2 outs, top of the 7th. First and second for Will Wagner. Weisert's pitch. Inside, ball 1. Not a great situation for the Red Sox pen coming into this 4-game series, considering they had the doubleheader yesterday. Everyone but Zach Kelly went from their pen. The 1-0. Swing and a foul back, 1-1. They pushed Richard Fitz to 6 innings. He came up with a quality start. And Alex Cora really trying to get this inning out of Greg Weissert, who's approaching 30 pitches in the frame. The 1-1. Outside, 2-1.
And that's not really good news for the Red Sox going forward for this series. One of their best relievers. I mean, he's probably down tomorrow after an outing like this, and then...
And he pitched yesterday, although he only threw 4 pitches.
Right. He might be down for 2 days.
It's 2-1. Foul tip, 2-2. Wagner 0 for 3. He did reach on an error last inning from Jarren Duran in left. The 2-2. Swing and a hot shot, left center field, base hit. Springer around third. He'll score. Kirk up to second. RBI single. Will Wagner. And it's 5-1 Toronto on that ground ball that shot through the left side.
Yeah, another good swing by the Toronto Blue Jays. It was a fastball away, and Will Wagner didn't try to do too much with it, just hammered that in the hole on the left side for another run for the Blue Jays and an RBI for Will Wagner. What a swing.
His first RBI of the year. The Blue Jays now 5 for 10 tonight with runners in scoring position. Five to 1 for the Blue Jays. 2 outs, top of the 7th, and that pitch well outside from Weissert to Nathan Lucas, ball 1. You have to wonder how much fatigue and the conditions are playing into Weissert at this point.
He's about to throw pitch number 31. A ton of pitches for a reliever in 1 inning.
The 1-0. Swing and a ground ball to second. Hamilton up with it, throws on to first. That'll do it for the inning. Blue Jays tack on 2 more runs on 4 hits. George Springer and Will Wagner with RBI singles. It's 5-1 Blue Jays at the 7th inning stretch. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
One of the best in the game at receiving the ball.
What's up, Blue Jays fans? Thank you for hanging out with us tonight for the Jays and the Red Sox. We're live right now for the National Championship and the conclusion of our SickKids Hospital Bracket Mania campaign. Florida, Houston, National Championship Bracket Mania. Make sure you guys head over there, hit the like button, get the chat fired up, and then come on back to the Blue Jays game. And don't forget, we'll be sending you at the end of the Blue Jays game. We'll let Blue Jays talk run for a little bit because that's what we do here. The Blue Jays come first. But after a little bit of Blue Jays talk, depending on the result, we'll send you over to the National Championship game. I'm a big Gators fan. Hopefully we'll get a Blue Jays win and a Gators win tonight. Go Leafs, go! Go Blue Jays, go! Go Argos, go! Go TFC, go! Go Raptors, go! We'll see you in the chat, Toronto. Thank you for hanging out with us for every single Blue Jays game all season long. Let's go raise some money for SickKids Hospital. See you in the chat.
City TV or stream it on City TV Plus.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Fastball painted at the bottom of the zone, and that's back-to-back strikeouts.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Bottom of the 7th inning, and after a 2-run top half, the Blue Jays lead 5-1. Coming out for a 7th inning of work, Jose Barrios back out on the mound, although rain really coming down at Fenway Park. We hope that the last 2.5 innings can go through after what's been a really entertaining game.
Yeah, and Jose Barrios has really picked it up after hitting a couple of speed bumps early on in this ball game, but he's really located that fastball well in the later part of this ball game.
First pitch called strike against Tristan Casas, 0-1. Barrios has allowed 3 hits, 1 run, 2 walks today. His 0-1. Inside. Tied American League East. There's a big series, of course, even though it's early in the year against the Red Sox. We'll give you a review of the standings in a moment. The 1-1. Hit foul, 1-2. Standings are brought to you by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds. Find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Yankees lost today, so they're 6-4, tied atop the division with the Boston Red Sox. Blue Jays a game back at 5-5. Tampa Bay 4-5 entering today, and Baltimore 4-6.
So this is in fact a big game.
In a way.
As big as it gets for the 11th game of the season.
For April 7th. 1-2 in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And our standings brought to you by Bet365. More who you're playing than maybe the records. Because with only 13 matchups against divisional opponents now, you can play a team in your division and not play them for a month and a half, even longer. 2-2. Just inside, ball 3.
Back in the old days, it was, 18 games a season with a divisional opponent?
18 or 19. Why is it escaping me right now? One of those 2 numbers.
It's a lot of games.
But now that you play everyone, play your division less. 3-2. Slurve just outside. Barrios with his palms up to the sky. It was a borderline call. Both of the last 2 pitches, borderline inside, borderline outside. They both went Casas' way. He has a leadoff walk.
Well, you could see Jose Barrios saying that's not outside, but as that ball was rounding home plate, and I think that's what happened, that slurve from Jose Barrios kind of went around home plate. You could hear Tristan Casas say, no, that's out. And I don't know if that affected the call or not, but watching that slow replay.
First pitch to Trevor Story is lined into left field. That's a base hit. Casas up to second. First and second for the Red Sox. Nobody out.
It's going to end up being a big call. And Jose Barrios is no doubt he's frustrated still.
Biggest chance for the Red Sox since the 3rd inning when they scored a run. They have 2 aboard here with nobody out, and the Blue Jays pen, which have been quiet all day, starting to loosen up. Good news is the Blue Jays added 2 in the top of the inning, so it's 5-1. But you can imagine they don't want to take chances here coming off 3 straight losses. Barrios remains in for now. Wilyer Abreu up the pitch. Slurve, backdoor, called strike. Wilyer Abreu, a hero in Game 1 yesterday. Walk-off single off the monster. Hitless today, 0 for 2 with a strikeout looking and a ground out. The 0-1 is a broken bat fly ball. Shallow left, Rodin charging in, makes the catch. 1 out.
It has to be tough for the outfielders right now. Well, infielders too, looking up, trying to catch that fly ball with that rain coming down on you. Alan Rodin with a good job right there.
Do you think these wet conditions favor batters or pitchers in defense?
I think it all depends. Well, first of all, it's hard to throw a wet baseball, so that's one of the most difficult things. Right. But I think as a pitcher, if the ball isn't dry, you're getting a new baseball. You're not throwing a ball that's slick, that's wet. So I think from the pitcher's point of view, I don't think it's that difficult to throw in the rain.
1 out. Carlos Narvaez up. First and second. 5-1 Blue Jays, bottom 7 the pitch. Slurve called a strike. 0-1. Barrios just threw his 80th pitch of the day. He's already making his longest start of 3 so far this season. The 0-1. Swing and a fly ball. Left field. Rodin again creeping in. He'll make a one-handed catch, 2 out.
You can see him squinting. That rain is probably just pounding him in the face as he's catching that baseball. Another good job by him.
Good news is Alan Rodin's from Wisconsin. So playing baseball.
They're known for their rain?
They're known for bad conditions. It is colder and snowier there than many places in Canada. And so I'm sure as a kid he played in a good handful of cold weather, maybe even snow games in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I'm sure their high school baseball isn't fun to be a part of.
No. 2 outs, 2 on. David Hamilton up. Barrios kicks and deals. Swing and a foul off, 0-1. Let's quickly go over to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Nats have extended their lead over the Dodgers 6-3 in the top of the 8th, and the Pirates have extended their lead over the Cardinals, a 4-run 7th for the Buccos, including an Andrew McCutchen 2-run double. It's now 8-2 Pittsburgh on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. 0-1, call to strike against Hamilton, 0-2.
David Hamilton didn't like that call, but that was a perfect sinker on the inside part. Just clipped the inside part of that black. Good pitch.
2 relievers up right now for the Red Sox. 0-2 pitch. Fouled right back. Got the fastball to the top of the zone. Hamilton just spun it back into the screen. Hamilton making a motion with his right arm. Looked like he was trying to say get on top of that baseball. The fastball elevated.
When I see a hitter doing that, I just bounce a slider.
Yeah.
Or a slurve in Jose Barrios.
He's showing his hand. The 0-2. And he bounced the slurve, but Hamilton laid off. Good call by you.
Well, Jose Barrios is definitely seeing the same things we're seeing.
You're seeing.
Well, yeah.
85 pitches for Barrios. It's been a really nice day. Cherry on top would be finishing off this 7th inning. The 1-2. Bounce the slurve again, and again Hamilton lays off. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
2 pretty good pitches. I like the location of those slurves. Now, obviously, a 2-2 count. You can't just bounce a slurve like that. Maybe make it a little bit more enticing here in this count.
Barrios looks at second. Kicks and deals. Outside with the changeup, ball 3.
Jose Barrios asking for a new baseball, probably wet. As soon as Alejandro Kirk caught that baseball, you could see him motioning, I don't want that baseball.
Crowd getting loud. Runners will be off on the pitch. It's Casas on second, Story on first. Full count, 2 outs, 5-1 Blue Jays, bottom of the 7th. The 3-2. Called strike 3. Barrios with a scream as he walks off the mound. His second strikeout of the day to make it 7 innings of 1-run ball. 5-1 Toronto going to the 8th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
What is up, Daddy Gang? It is your founding father, Alex Cooper.
I am so excited for you guys to hear
Unwell on Air, your one-stop destination for all things trending, curated by me. All of your favorite content from the Unwell Network, plus exclusive new live shows that keep you in the know. We're breaking down the latest in pop culture and opening up the phone lines because I want you to join the conversation. Oh my God, let's go. Unwell on Air, exclusively on the SiriusXM app.
Let the games begin.
On SiriusXM, you get all the sports play-by-play you want and all the live sports talk you need. It's always a home game when you listen to the NFL, NHL, NBA, and MLB on the SiriusXM app.
How good is that?
We fuel your fandom with NASCAR, the biggest college games, PGA, and soccer. And when news breaks, hear instant reaction.
We got a big developing story out of Cincinnati.
The SiriusXM app. Everything a sports fan needs, all in one place.
It's soccer's most thrilling league.
Only the Premier League can make you feel like this.
And now every match is on the SiriusXM app.
Can you believe it?
From the title race.
This is remarkable.
Keeps this title charge on track, surely.
to the relegation fight.
The impossible may still be possible.
Hear every English Premier League match on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Just search for your favorite club.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
To Blue Jays baseball. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Blue Jays in the top of the 8th inning at Fenway Park, leading the Red Sox 5-1. It's pitching change for Boston, brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. Robert Stock, the right-hander, pitching in the big leagues for the first time since 2021. He comes on with the rain pouring down. The pitch to Alan Rodin is sidearmed in inside, ball one. 55 total major league appearances for Stock, most of them with the Padres, 10 times for Boston in 2020 and split 2021 with the Cubs and Mets. The 1-0. Called strike on the outside edge.
Doesn't have much velo, but throws kind of sidearm. It's almost like a high submarine guy. Obviously, we haven't seen much of Robert Stock, but really funky arm angle.
1-1 pitch is popped up by Will Wagner. Near first base, Tristan Casas coming in right near the bag, makes the catch. Pardon me, that was Alan Rodin, 1 out. We think Jose Barrios' day done after 7 innings, dealt with some trouble, but we'll have to wait and see. He's been great today. First pitch to Bo Bichette, called strike.
We saw John Schneider after Jose Barrios finished that game, and it just looked like a manager that was going over to congratulate Jose Barrios. So I would imagine he's done. I'm not saying for sure, but I would imagine he is.
0-1 pitch is hit off the handle, a roller over the mound. Stock gets out of the way. David Hamilton, the second baseman, picks it up, throws to first for the out. With 2 outs, let's go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. The national final for men's college basketball going on right now. The 1-seed Florida Gators and the 1-seed Houston Cougars, led by Kelvin Sampson, tied 8-8, 5 minutes into the game. 2 outs, nobody aboard, and the first pitch to Vlad Guerrero Jr. bounces low and away, ball one. All of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Vlad today 2 for 3, 2 singles and a walk, also a run scored. The 1-0. Swing and a ground ball to short, picked up on the run by Story. Off to his left, he throws to first and ends the inning. 1-2-3 in his return to the big leagues for Robert Stock. Middle of the 8th, 5-1 Blue Jays. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Gary, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at armstrongbirdfood.com.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Law & Order Thursday on City TV.
We're charging him with manslaughter.
3 Law & Orders on one epic night.
It was premeditated. It was planned.
Law & Order at 8.
He told me to is not a legal defense against murder.
SVU at 9.
Covering his ass, I'd start thinking about your own.
Followed by the new season of Law & Order Toronto Criminal Intent at 10.
Nothing justifies murder. How about we start with the truth?
Law & Order Thursday, all new, 8/7 Central on City TV.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Called strike 3, change up at the knees, and there's nothing you can do about that pitch.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
On a wet night at Fenway, the Blue Jays make their first pitching change of the game. Brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. Jimmy Garcia into the ball game, 5-1 for Toronto. They go to the setup man despite the 4-run lead, trying to lock in their first win in the last 4 games.
John Schneider's not messing around here.
First pitch to Cedon Rafaela. A one-hopper to third, picked up by Wagner. Bounces it to first, and it skips past Carrero down the right field line. Rafaela off for second, thinking about third, but he'll go back to second base. A throwing error from Wagner, who's had a couple skipped throws today. This time, Vlatty couldn't bring it in.
You have to wonder if that was a wet baseball. I'm not sure if it was. It was just one hop on the ground as it got to Wagner, but it's almost like he looked down, saw Rafaela almost at first base and tried to rush it.
He took his time getting the grip of the baseball, but he still had time to throw it. And it just bounced off the glove of Guerrero trying to make a backhanded pick. It's only the second error by the Blue Jays so far this season. They have not allowed any unearned runs in the first 10 games. Pitch to Jarren Duran. High ball 1. Sounds like some anti-Yankees chants potentially going on, which I guess all the fans can bond over. 5-1 Blue Jays, runner on second. Nobody out, bottom 8. Garcia kicks and deals. Called high, looked pretty good, 2-0.
Jimmy Garcia with a little smirk on his face after that call. It was a good pitch, but it was just at the top of the strike zone.
Garcia with a peek at second and the 2-0. Fastball in there at 94, strike 1. It's been cold today and the last time Jimmy Garcia pitched, but it's 2 times in a row now we're seeing more 93-94 than 96-98. Only 4 pitches into this outing. Garcia's 2-1. 94 is lifted down the left field line. Rodin racing to the slim foul territory. He pulls up. That one goes out of play. 2-2.
One reason I can probably come up with why Jimmy Garcia and a lot of relievers or starters that are older, they take time off in the offseason, so that means it takes longer to get to their top velocity during the season. If you keep throwing all offseason, generally speaking, in April, you'll be 96, 97, 98, or your top velocity.
The only thing is we saw him throwing mid to high 90s earlier.
Right.
2-2. Breaking ball downstairs, ball 3.
But sometimes the velocity is a little bit inconsistent if you take time off. I'm not saying that's why the velocity is down right now, but that's sometimes a reason why you see lower velocities or inconsistent velocities.
Full count, nobody out. The pitch. Inside, ball 4. He walks Duran, and there are 2 aboard as Fenway Park starts to get loud.
And that's not what you want to do when Rafael Devers is standing in that on-deck circle. Nobody out in this inning. That's a big at-bat here for the Red Sox.
Garcia last pitched a couple days ago on the 5th. And while he got the job done coming in the middle of the 7th, it was a bit of a journey to get there. He needed 1 out. He faced 3 batters to get that out. His pitch to Rafael Devers, low ball 1. Devers is 0 for 2 today. A ground out, a line out, and a sacrifice fly that scored the lone Boston run. 5-1 Toronto. No outs, first and second, bottom of the 8th. The pitch. Spiked it, backhanded pick by Kirk, throws back to second, and Rafaela slides back in. 2-0.
That was a miracle that Alejandro Kirk came up with that baseball. That ball bounced in front of the plate, and Alejandro Kirk scooped it like a first baseman would.
That's why he had any chance at Rafaela. Rafaela had started to go like that ball was going to get away, but with his speed, got back in time. The 2-0. Swing and a deep drive, right center field. On the run, Lucas sliding, catch in center. He tosses it back into the infield. Raffaello wasn't tagging, so he stays at second, and there's one out on a heck of a play from Lucas.
What a play by Nathan Lucas, getting that ball in quickly, too. Keeping Raffaello at second. That's a big first out for Jimmy Garcia.
Garcia had to deal with the adversity of the early error, but the defense picks him up right after that. And Lucas getting a little extra distance on the slide with the wet grass. Had to find his footing and get it back in quick. Still trouble to work through. First and second, one out. It's Alex Bregman at the plate. Right-handed hitting third baseman. The pitch. Called strike.
And it's still drizzling pretty hard, too. You imagine Nathan Lucas had to deal with that as he was sliding to catch that baseball.
Garcia set at the belt. Looks at second. Kicks and fires. Just high at 95. His hardest pitch of the day. 1-1. Bregman 1 for 3. Although his one hit, he was thrown out by Alan Rodin trying to stretch a single into a double. 1-1. Swing and a pop-up back of shortstop. The shutout in left field. Rodin coming in makes the call on the catch. 2 outs.
Well, that wasn't where Jimmy Garcia wanted that pitch. It was a backup slider. But fortunately for the Blue Jays, Alex Bregman just popped up to left field, but nonetheless a big out.
Double barrel action in the Red Sox bullpen right now. Aroldis Chapman, the closer, is just starting to go. He's actually making a throwing motion with his towel just in case the Red Sox take the lead here in the 8th, and Zach Kelly, the righty, is in more intense throwing. First pitch to Tristan Casas is a backdoor breaking ball hit foul, 0-1. Casas 0 for 2 with a walk. Garcia rocks and deals. In the dirt, picked by Kirk, 1-1.
Kirk was trying to fake out Casas there. He had the target up and in. Obviously, Jimmy Garcia is not going to throw that slider up and in there. He bounced it.
Fake out Raffaello on second, too, who might be trying to relay some signs. The 1-1. Swing and a high pop-up. Foul territory, first base side. Guerrero backing up, leaning on the tarp. Jimenez jumps on the tarp, and it goes a couple rows into the seats.
He actually jumped on the tarp and stood there for a second. I think he had a quick conversation with a couple of the fans.
Also, Andres Jimenez has like the hand warmer fanny pack like you see quarterbacks have. He's got to tighten that up a little bit. It's bouncing around, dangling off his back.
You can't blame him. He's from Venezuela.
That has to do with fanny pack tightness?
No, I'm just talking about the weather.
Hand warmers? Yeah. The 1-2. Swing and a line drive, left field, headed for the monster. It bangs off the big wall, barehanded by Rodin. Raffaello scores, but stopping at third base is Jarren Duran. So it's a one-run long single for Casas, but a good play by Rodin to keep it from being anything more.
Yeah, Rodin is really getting good out there, dealing with that green monster, picks that baseball up perfectly, barehands it, and gets it in, keeping the runner on third base, but it's a big at-bat coming for Jimmy Garcia here in this game.
Unearned run there against Garcia as the batter Raffaello reached on an error. And now Pete Walker is going to go out to the mound and talk to his righty. It's the tying run about to come up to the plate in the form of slugging shortstop Trevor Story.
I would imagine at this point in this ball game, the tying run in that batter's box, you probably don't want to come in, just because if he turns on that pitch, there's a good chance this game is tied. You probably want to stay away from Trevor Story right now, although he has some juice and he could hit the ball out to right field as well. But generally speaking, because you're at Fenway Park, you don't want to throw in here at this point in the ball game.
Yeah, unless you're looking at Pesky's pole in right field, it's much deeper to right than it is to left. Mound meeting over. Alejandro Kirk giving some instruction to the defense about potential first and third steal plays, although it's Casas on first, so unlikely to happen. And also unlikely because Story with a home run could tie the game. 5-2 Blue Jays. First and third for Boston. 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Garcia kicks and deals. Misses inside. Ball 1. Wasn't trying to go inside like you mentioned, but missed the spot.
Yeah, not the pitch you want to throw there in this ball game.
2 home runs on the year for Trevor Story, who we mentioned earlier has hit as many as 37 in a season in his career. A look at third from Jimmy, the 1-0. Over the plate, strike 1. It's been a grinding inning for Garcia. Started with an error, then a walk, 2 quick outs, and then the single by Casas to drive in a run. 1-1. Inside, nearly hit him, 2-1.
Well, they've tried to go outside with that slider 3 times in a row, and Jimmy Garcia hasn't been able to get it there yet. That one almost hit Trevor Story.
Story back in the box, open stance from the right side. The 2-1. Outside with a fastball, ball 3. As much as you can't serve one up to Story, if you walk him, the go-ahead run comes to the plate, and one of the hottest hitters in baseball, Wilyer Abreu. And Alejandro Kirk is going to step up to the plate. He motioned for Garcia to step off and reset the clock so they can go through the pitches again.
Well, I think the biggest thing you have to tell yourself as a pitcher here is just locate that fastball or that sweeper down and away, and I think that's where they're going to try to go.
The 3-1. Fouled off a fastball on the outer third to make it 3-2.
That's a good pitch there. 94 down and away. Just throw that same pitch again. Like you said, you don't want Trevor Story on base here. You don't want the go-ahead run and Wilyer Abreu in that batter's box.
Casas will be running on the pitch with a full count and 2 outs. Duran will not. Casas on first, Duran on third. 5-2 Blue Jays, bottom of the 8th inning. Garcia set. He rocks and deals. And it's fouled back. Elevated the fastball inside, and Story just got a piece of it. He'll stay at the plate.
Again, I don't think he meant to elevate that fastball. I think he just doesn't have that good release point, that good command of the fastball right now.
Story asks for time. It's granted by home plate umpire Alex Tosi. Now Tosi back behind Kirk and Story in the box. Right-handed hitter taps the plate once, looks out to Jimmy Garcia, who's set at the belt. The payoff pitch. Called strike 3. 95 down the middle to get him and strand 2 runners. 5-2, the Blue Jays lead as we go to the 9th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
8 clubs remain in the battle for European soccer supremacy. And the drama is on Sirius XM FC.
Bellingham has steered it in! Real Madrid have won it!
The defending champs face a trip to London for a showdown with the Gunners.
It's like, shoot! Oh my word, Bukayo Saka!
It's the UEFA Champions League quarterfinal. Arsenal versus Real Madrid. Tomorrow at 3 Eastern on Sirius XM FC, channel 157 in the car and on the Sirius XM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
What's up, Blue Jays fans? Thank you for hanging out with us tonight for the Jays and the Red Sox. We're live right now for the National Championship and the conclusion of our SickKids Hospital Bracket Mania campaign. Florida, Houston, National Championship, Bracket Mania. Make sure you guys head over there, hit the like button, get the chat fired up, and then come on back to the Blue Jays game. And don't forget, we'll be sending you at the end of the Blue Jays game. We'll let Blue Jays talk run for a little bit because that's what we do here. The Blue Jays come first. But after a little bit of Blue Jays talk, depending on the result, we'll send you over to the national championship game. I'm a big Gators fan. Hopefully we'll get a Blue Jays win and a Gators win tonight. Go Leafs, go! Go Blue Jays, go! Go Argos, go! Go TFC, go! Go Raptors, go! We'll see you in the chat, Toronto. Thank you for hanging out with us for every single Blue Jays game all season long. Let's go raise some money for SickKids Hospital. See you in the chat.
Blue Jays 5, Red Sox 2. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. The 0-1 from Stock. Santander smokes it right side, foul ball. Just got wide of the bag, could have been extra bases. Santander, Jimenez, Springer are the three due up this inning. Any runs would be big against this Red Sox offense that has been quieter today than they've been in really their entire 5-game win streak, but they can really hit.
Well, that's because of Jose Barrios. Jose Barrios was really good tonight with not his best stuff, and I think the Blue Jays might take a look at this.
We just got to look at the replay. Looked like that ball hit the line just past the bag. And the play is under review. Not sure if the mic got working there, but they're going to take a look at that one. It was past the first base bag, a line drive that was hooking away from fair territory, but appeared.
I think that's a fair ball. Yeah, I think that's a fair ball. Oh yeah, that's a fair ball. This will be overturned for sure.
Well, it's good with the water. You can really see where the ball lands. A big splash. Santander's getting rid of his bat. So Santander will get a single out of that. He's going to head down to first with his first hit of the day.
If that ball was fair, would it have been a double?
So here's the thing. I don't think by purely legging it out, but I thought that ball might have bounced near being a ground rule double over the wall. It's tough because it dies a lot, but Wilyer Abreu is one of the better right fielders in baseball. Either way, it's a base hit. And Andres Jimenez is up. He takes outside ball 1. Jimenez 0 for 1. 2 walks, a fielder's choice, a sac fly. Takes a pitch down the middle, strike 1. 2 stolen bases and 2 runs scored. His speed has done a lot for the Blue Jays today. Twice he's stolen bases and then been hit in by George Springer. The 1-1. Swing and a fly ball out to center field. Should be routine for Rafaela, who jogs forward and makes a 2-handed catch. 1 out. George Springer moved up in the lineup today to the 5th spot rather than hitting 6th behind Alejandro Kirk. And it's looked like a pretty productive pairing between Jimenez and Springer.
I mean, clearly, George, there's something different with George Springer, and it's not the power that's really different. It's just the approach, the pitches he's swinging at. I mean, he's gone the other way twice today for base hits.
First pitch to Springer, called strike.
It's just so impressive that he had kind of a ho-hum season last year and what he's doing, or at least early on this season.
3 for 3 today. A .438 average so far this year. The 0-1. Low. I mean, there are many complicated things that I'm sure we wouldn't even understand that went on with his swing as they were reworking it in the spring. But one thing we can tell, he's hitting nearly 50% line drives when the ball comes off his bat. Came into today leading the majors in line drive percentage on balls in play. He takes inside now. It's 2-1.
Was that on your bingo card?
For him to lead the majors, probably not lead the majors, no. I mean, in a lot of his best years, he's a guy that hits a lot of fly balls. Hits for a ton of power. The 2-1. Swing and a ground ball off the foot of the pitcher, bouncing toward first. It's going to be a 4th hit of the day for Springer. Hit off the right foot of Stock, pinballed over toward first base. Springer safe at first. Up to second goes Santander as Stock gives the thumbs up that he's healthy to the Red Sox dugout.
Well, that's good fortune for George Springer. That's a double play ball if it doesn't hit Robert Stock in the foot. But again, if you're gonna get hits in bunches, those are sometimes some of the hits that you have to get. And George Springer, like you said, 4 for 4, 4 singles in this ball game.
Put the ball in play, good things happen. Springer with a 4-hit day. Here's Alejandro Kirk, who has 2 hits of his own. 2 on, 1 out. The pitch is hit off his foot foul. It went all the way back to the mound. It was fielded by the pitcher, but it'll be 0-1.
Robert Stock just kicked that ball in. Did you see that?
He's just showing his foots on. Yeah, I don't know why he drop kicked the baseball away.
It almost looked like it hurt the way that ball hit his foot as he kicked it in.
It wasn't a clean volley, to use the soccer parlance.
No.
Alejandro Kirk also still walking around a bit gingerly, kind of like Will Wagner earlier. He fouled that right off his leg, although a little higher, closer to the knee for Kirk. And Jose Ministral is testing out that knee, so it might have got him right on the kneecap.
Yeah, Alejandro Kirk has the lower shin protection and the ankle protection, but like you said, the ball just hit him above that, on the lower knee.
Still in conversation with Ministral and Schneider right now.
Probably not good if you have to come back out and catch if you're getting hit in the knee while you're hitting.
It's a 3-way conversation. Mostly Schneider and Ministral talking, but Kirk weighing in as well. He's standing about 10 feet away from the plate toward the Blue Jay dugout. Looks like he doesn't want to come out. He's trying to walk closer to the plate, testing it out, stepping hard on that left leg, which is his plant foot in the swing, and it looks like he's satisfied the trainer and manager. So good news for the Blue Jays. Kirk's going to remain in the game. Could be a wait-and-see thing on catching, too. Sometimes you hit now, and then you come back into the dugout. Adrenaline wears off a little bit, and you don't go out there again. Plus, the Blue Jays could add on more, and maybe they'd feel fine about going to Heineman for the bottom of the ninth. It's first and second, 1 out. The 0-1 pitch is lined right to second base, caught by Hamilton. Well, the knee good enough to scorch that ball, but he hit it to the wrong spot. 2 outs.
Well, both Anthony Santander and George Springer did really good jobs freezing and then going back to their bases right away. Yeah, that's a pretty good job from Santander, who was about 15 feet away from that baseball. He would have been doubled off even if he went to third base just a little bit, took a step to third base.
2 down, first and second. The pitch to Will Wagner. High, ball 1. Wagner with an RBI single in the 7th, his first run batted in of the season. He's 1 for 4. The 1-0. Up and away, 2-0. Really lost control of that changeup, got underneath it, did the side armor. Just kept rising and rising, up and away. Stock threw 7 pitches in his first inning of work, 13 now in the 9th inning. 2-0. Called strike, although it's off the glove of the catcher. Nearly got away far enough for the runners to advance, but Santander will stick at second.
Yeah, I don't think Santander wanted to take the chance there. He's already in scoring position. There's 2 outs in this inning. Stay put. See if Will Wagner can hit you in.
I don't know if that was a rare cross-up in a pitch calm era, but that was a fastball down the middle that got away from Narvaez. The 2-1. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Robert Stock's got some good stuff, really funky.
Handful of major league games in the late 2010s up to 2021. Getting an opportunity today with a spent Red Sox pen. 2-2. High, ball 3. They brought him up today, Stock. Sent Cooper Criswell down. As I mentioned yesterday, everyone in the pen for Boston threw except for Zach Kelly. Runners will be off on the pitch. Santander on second and Springer on first. With 2 down, the 3-2 from the righty reliever. Inside, ball 4. A walk and the bases are loaded. Kind of like the Red Sox last inning, the Blue Jays have 2 relievers up for 2 different scenarios. Jeff Hoffman's been warming all inning. If it sticks at 5-2, you imagine Hoffman comes in, maybe even if it's 6-2. But Jacob Barnes is loosening up as well. If Toronto extends the lead, they'll likely save Hoffman for another day.
Yeah, the Blue Jays have 9 games in a row after tonight's ball game before their next off day, so it would probably be...
First pitch to Nathan Lucas, foul tip, strike 1.
It would be good for the Blue Jays bullpen and the Blue Jays in general if Jeff Hoffman didn't have to throw tonight.
5-2 Toronto, 2 outs top of the ninth. The bases are loaded off 2 hits and a walk. Stock, a right-hander standing on the extreme first base side, deals to Lucas, who takes it in. Peel down to third. I don't even think he checked his swing, really. Kind of just bent out of the way. Definitely no swing, 1-1.
Yeah, Nathan Lucas was shaking his head, letting everybody know that he didn't swing.
It's one where the TV broadcasts don't even go to the side view. Nothing to debate there. Narvaez, the catcher, asks for time. That'll be 1 disengagement used in this plate appearance. Now Lucas back in the box. Santander on third, Springer on second, Wagner on first. 1-1. Swing and a miss. And I'm leaning forward on the changeup, 1-2.
That's actually a really nice pitch. That kind of sets you up for that elevated fastball here. I don't know what he's going to throw, but
a nod from Stock, who's now moved to the third base side of the rubber, and is 1-2 inside. You don't see guys move that much in the middle of an at-bat usually. His toes were on the first base side for the first pitch. His heel was on the third base side for the last one. It's 2-2. It's on the third base side again, the 2-2. Swing and a looper off the handle. This is trouble in shallow center. It's down for a base hit. Santander scores. Springer scores. Throw to third. Gets Wagner. And that will do it for the inning. I believe that both runs came in before the tag. So it should be 7-2. Although I think the umpires are going to review. They actually ruled that only one of the 2 runs came in. And the Blue Jays are going to ask for a review right here to see if they can get both Santander and Springer's runs to count. At a minimum, it's 6-2 for the Blue Jays. We'll hang around at least for this review.
Such a good job by Nathan Lucas getting the bat to that baseball. It was a tough slider inside, right on the hands, blew him up. But he's so strong, and he's able to just dump that thing into center field for 1, maybe 2 RBIs.
And so as far as we know, this is not a challenge about whether Wagner was safe or out. It seems pretty clear he was out. But rather, because it was a tag play, did Springer step on home plate prior to Wagner getting tagged out?
And that's why you always run hard. You never let up coming home because of this exact situation. You want to score before that guy gets thrown out at third base.
You wonder, too, if Carlos Fablas talks to Will Wagner after. You mentioned a lot. Don't make the first or third out at third base. How much of an advantage is there really to Wagner being on third rather than second with 2 outs? This is really tight. I don't think that run's going to count.
No, I don't think so. But yeah, I think you're right. There's no need for Will Wagner to go to third base there. The play is in front of him. He sees that ball there. Cedon Rafaela's got a pretty good arm, and I think he should know that. So you just stay at second base, you take the 2 runs, and you head into the 9th inning up 7-2, if not more.
Umpires are going over to talk to the managers. It's 6-2 at a minimum for the Blue Jays. But he's still going on trying to figure out if it'll be 7-2 for Toronto. And that could also impact, do you go to Jeff Hoffman or Jacob Barnes, even though it's only 1 run? Long looking, though, for the umpires here. They have to match the camera angles of the plate and also the tag at third base.
I don't think this run will count. We've seen a couple of slow motion replays. Obviously, the replay officials in New York have a lot more camera angles than we do, but I've seen enough to think that this run will not count.
As they continue this review, we get another look at it here. So it was
calling the field at third base stands. The runner's out. They're calling home plate. There's no run scores. Toronto loses their talent.
So there you go. The result of the review is that Springer does not come in to score on the single. Santander does on the RBI base hit from Nathan Lucas. It's 6-2, middle of the ninth. Blue Jays try to lock up a win when we come back. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Find your location at timbermart.ca.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. For our participating location, visit timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Next pitch, Moniak takes off. It's low a ball, throw down to second. They got him!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. Show Ali with you. The Blue Jays lead the Red Sox 6-2 as we head to the bottom of the ninth inning at Fenway. Quick check of the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Men's National Championship check-in to wrap up March Madness. It is currently 31-28 Houston with 34 seconds to go in the first quarter. We'll continue checking in on that as long as this game is going. And don't forget, we do have Jays Talk tonight. Blair and Barker have the post-game show. They will take your calls and texts this evening. Jeff will throw out the numbers for you to call after the final out, and I'm sure there will be a lot of Vlatty calls and texts tonight with good reason. We'll throw out all the numbers for you to call and text once this game is in the books. Blue Jays Baseball brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. The Blue Jays lead at 6-2. Here's Ben and Chris.
Thank you very much, Joe. Jeff Hoffman into the game. The closer deals home, and the first pitch hit foul by Wilyer Abreu. 0-1. This pitching change is brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. 6-2 Blue Jays non-save situation for Jeff Hoffman, who has 3 saves for the Blue Jays in 3 tries this year and a 2.08 ERA in 4 1/3 innings. The 0-1. High and outside with a splitter.
Well, this tells you just how important this game is to John Schneider and the Blue Jays. Up 4 in a non-save situation. Why not bring Jeff Hoffman in?
4-seam, splitter, slider for Hoffman, occasional sinker, 1-1. Missed outside with a split finger, 2 balls and 1 strike. Some defensive changes for the Blue Jays. Miles Straw in center field in place of Nathan Lucas. Ernie Clement at third in place of Will Wagner. The 2-1. Fastball hit foul again by Abreu, 2-2. Still 3 outs to go, but thus far, Blue Jays pitching has kept Abreu, Devers from picking up hits, no hits. 1 hit for Bregman today in 4 tries. It's been a really nice day. Of course, Jose Barrios, the main part of that, but a really nice day for the Blue Jays staff. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 96 on the outside edge. 1 down.
And keep in mind, the top 3 guys in this Red Sox order yesterday in the second game of that doubleheader had 11 hits.
And I believe Abreu had 2 more hits of his own in that game. This is an offense that has scored 37 runs and hit .356 over a 5-game win streak. The pitch to Narvaez, called strike. Now, maybe some fatigue coming off a doubleheader sweep yesterday, cold day today. But Jose Barrios, fantastic in 7 innings of work. The 0-1 to the catcher. Narvaez takes down and away, ball 1. Hoffman blows into his right hand. A native of Latham, New York. He's probably played in some cold games over his time. Did pitch at Colorado and Philly for a while, too. Both places that get cold. 1-1 pitch. Hit on the ground weakly to third. Charging Clement. Snap throw to first. Bounces in, but Vlatty makes the pick on a knee. 2 down.
And that's one of those plays as an infielder. You're trying to bounce that baseball to first base, but you're making sure it's a long hop, an easy play for that first baseman. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with a great play over there at first.
Ernie seems to excel at that. He's not working with the best arm at third in baseball, but he really knows how to get it there fastest by skipping it rather than throwing a more lobbed throw over to third. 2 outs, 6-2 Toronto. David Hamilton swings at the first pitch and pops it up. Back of short, Bichette called off by Rodin. The left fielder makes the catch, and the Blue Jays win the game. 6-2, the final score. The Blue Jays snap their 3-game losing streak, snap the 5-game win streak of the Red Sox, and take the series opener.
Well, it wasn't perfect, but Jose Barrios grinded through 7 innings. 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, just 1 run in this ball game. And how about George Springer? 4 for 4. 4 singles. There were a lot of good things in this ball game, but Jose Barrios and George Springer, they put the team on their backs tonight.
Toronto wins 6-2. We'll take a step aside, come back, wrap it up, and get you over to a winning edition of Blue Jays Talk. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here at Home Hardware's Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale, everyone's saving on everything they need to tackle their reno project. Like bringing their living room into this century with 25% off Canadian-made Beauty Tone Pure Interior and Specialty Paint. Or tackling that bathroom reno with up to $200 off Max Shower Units. That's better. Earn and redeem Scene Plus points during the Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale. On now at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
Mary, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at ArmstrongBirdFood.com.
But you got no confidence like me.
Hi, this is Will Wagner, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Work too hard, can you pay me?
Blue Jays 6, Red Sox 2, the final score at Fenway Park. Toronto picking up a series opening win over the Red Sox. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Thanks for sticking around. And Chris, let's dive in a little bit more on Jose Barrios' start. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, only 2 strikeouts without a ton of his velocity. How did Barrios navigate his way through this lineup 3 times?
Well, I think early on, he really didn't have command of anything. He was throwing his slurve out of the strike zone. The sinker really didn't have the higher velocity that we've seen this season so far. It didn't have a ton of movement. But he found something. He found another gear later on in the ball game, almost in like the 3rd inning. I think he was just a different guy. It was less grinding and just more pitching. Threw a lot of good sinkers, a lot of good slurves, and he even mixed in those right-on-right changeups that we've seen him throw this year, or changeups, yeah, earlier on this season. But he was great, and he just pitched. I think that's how he navigated through this lineup. He didn't have the great stuff. He just pitched his way through this lineup.
He ended up helping the Red Sox to a 1-for-11 with runners in scoring position today. The Red Sox entered the game leading the majors with a .344 batting average with runners in scoring position. On the other side, the Blue Jays came up with a ton of big hits in the game. They had 13 hits overall and scored 6 runs with only 1 extra base hit. But that effort hitting in the clutch was led by today's player of the game, George Springer. Shrugs the shoulders, kicks and deals. Swing and a liner headed toward left field. That's down for a base hit. Guerrero jogs home. Springer up to first with an RBI single. It's 2-0 Blue Jays. Swing and a rope down the left field line. Base hit rolling into the corner. Jimenez around third. He'll score. Springer trying for second. No, he's going to race back to first, and he dives back in as Duran got it in quickly, and then they nearly threw behind him to first base to get him out. It's an RBI single, though, for George Springer once again, and it's 3-1 Blue Jays. It's 3-1. Swing and a hard ground ball through the whole right side of base hit. Jimenez around third. Abreu bobbles it in right, and Andres Jimenez comes in to score. RBI single again for George Springer. His third of the game. It's 4-1 Blue Jays.
Well, the biggest reason why George Springer is who he is right now, he's just making better decisions at the plate. He's swinging at better pitches, and when he does get that pitch on the outside part of the plate, he just hammers it the other way. He did it a couple of times tonight, a big hole on the right side of the infield. The second baseman was shaded towards the second base bag, and he saw that, and he just filleted that baseball into right field. He's such a smart hitter, and there's something different about him this year. I said that during the broadcast, and I stand by my words.
A nice day as well for the $500 million man. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. had 2 hits and a walk. Will Wagner with an RBI single and a walk. 2 hits for Alejandro Kirk and a hit and a walk for Anthony Santander, plus a couple of walks and stolen bases for Andres Jimenez that helped set up those Springer RBI singles. The Blue Jays win 6-2, 6 runs on 13 hits, an error, 11 left for the Blue Jays, although they went 6 for 13, near 500 with runners in scoring position. 2 runs for the Red Sox, 5 hits, 2 errors, 6 left on base. It's win 100 in the career of Jose Barrios. In his first of the season, he becomes the 18th active Major League starter with 100 wins and the youngest on that list. Richard Fitz with the loss, 0-2. This one taken 6 minutes shy of 3 hours in front of nearly 26,000 in the Blue Jays and Red Sox, both 6-5. After the Toronto win. The Blue Jays take the opener. They'll try and ensure a series split at a minimum tomorrow. It's a lefty against a lefty. Garrett Crochet for the Red Sox. Easton Lucas for the Blue Jays. First pitch again at 6:45 Eastern. We'll have game coverage starting at 6:30. Hope you can join us then. For Austin Mackey, our technical director, Show Ali, our host and producer, and my partner Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Hope you have a great rest of your night, and stick around. Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker starts right now.
What's up, Blue Jays fans? Thank you for hanging out with us tonight for the Jays and the Red Sox. We're live right now for the National Championship and the conclusion of our SickKids Hospital Bracket Mania campaign. Florida, Houston, National Championship Bracket Mania. Make sure you guys head over there, hit the like button, get the chat fired up, and then come on back to the Blue Jays game. And don't forget, we'll be sending you at the end of the Blue Jays game. We'll let Blue Jays Talk run for a little bit because that's what we do here. The Blue Jays come first. But after a little bit of Blue Jays Talk, depending on the result, we'll send you over to the National Championship game. I'm a big Gators fan. Hopefully we'll get a Blue Jays win and a Gators win tonight. Go Leafs, go! Go Blue Jays, go! Go Argos, go! Go TFC, go! Go Raptors, go! We'll see you in the chat, Toronto. Thank you for hanging out with us for every single Blue Jays game all season long. Let's go raise some money for SickKids Hospital. See you in the chat.
How surprised you are that this deal got done? What you think the long-term ramifications for this deal are? Does it make a difference to you as a Blue Jays fan? Does it really make a difference to you knowing that Vlatty's here? We also, of course, want to talk about this particular game, Kevin. The Toronto Blue Jays right now, after Jose Barrios' game today, have got more innings out of their starting pitchers so far this year than every team but the Chicago Cubs. Jose Barrios tonight, 20 called strikes. His fourth inning, Kevin, a 7-pitch fourth inning, Casa Story and Abreu, who has been lights out this year. That 7-pitch inning seemed to kind of set him on his way, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Well, you just mentioned that the 20 called strikes helped. That's the most emotion I've seen him ever on a mound. You know, he comes screaming off the mound in the 7th inning when he got the called strike 3. His velocity was down. For me, he didn't have the slurve until the 5th inning. His four-seamer helped make up for not having the slurve. His sinker in to righties helped a little bit. The cold, that's where you pitch dudes. When it's cold, you pitch them in. Sometimes they're thinking more about getting their bat over with than knowing plate coverage, plate awareness. They tend to chase a little bit more. I mean, it's genius for a dude that's experienced as Jose is. The changeup down and away was good to lefties. That helped a lot. The Casas changeup down and away in the first inning. The Vlatty pick from the throw from Wagner is a big deal. The walk and the leadoff hitter, who's the 8-hole hitter, leading off the third, the stolen base. Then he picked him off at second. I mean, the base running is just at the big league level because of where you're at in the order, who's coming up in the order. It's sort of like the Will Wagner thing in the 9th inning. I just don't understand it. Why you put your head down and run till somebody tags you out just doesn't make any sense to me. But, again, with Barrios, it's just he made a pitch when he had to make it, and when you're doing that as a veteran pitcher, a lineup has a chance to have a couple of big innings. George Springer, I mean, what can you say? Just tension free, not trying to, take big daddy hacks, not trying to hit the ball 7,000 feet, just put barrel to ball no matter where it's at in the strike zone. It seems to be working. It's don't overthink it. Don't guess as much as I think he used to be guessing. That's why for me, he looks a little bit more balanced. He's hitting it where it's pitched, right? If it's away, I'm hitting it the other way up the middle. If it's in, I can pull. He's a little out in front with 2 strikes because he's wanting to get the foot down, not getting beat with the velocity. You keep it fair. That's how you have productive at bats. So, sports sort of the Jimenez, Springer, doing all kinds of things, the stolen bases. I mean, that's a team win, right? They're they're one game above 500. The top 3 dudes in the lineup don't have a homer through 11 games. Yep. If I'd have told you that when the season started, you would have told me they'd win about 2 or 3 games out of this thing. So you started it off the right way. Starting pitching's again, right? When they were good a couple of years ago, it was because those 5 dudes in that rotation we're getting it done. I mean, right now, you're starting to see a little bit of that too, right? Where whatever it takes, we're going to get it done to give you guys a chance to at least have a couple of stringing together some things. Maybe a guy stealing a base, maybe a guy having a quality at bat, just enough to turn it over to an 8th and 9th inning guy. And you said it to me by text. Jimmy Garcia hates that cold weather, boy. But again, it's not always about how it looks. It's about you getting it done. And
you got
exactly what the doctor ordered. I joked and said this is must win. But boy, when you pay your franchise player 14 for 500 coming off a sweep from the Mets, facing a Red Sox team who just took the Cardinals behind the woodshed, I don't know. Early in the season, this might be about as must win as it can get. Good for them. They did exactly what they needed to do.
Oh, God knows you don't want to be one game under 500.
You don't. Not especially when you got your best pitcher on the mound. You just spent the amount of money you spent. Your top 3 guys haven't hit a homer. Yeah. For me, it's about as close as it's going to get. Look at you rolling your eyes. That's why I love you.
This contract hasn't even been formally
signed
above
yet. 500. Game
and
above 500.
You're making it sound like it's a must win.
Absolutely.
Nonsense. 416-870-0590, star 591, 888-666-0590, 590 is a text line. The Jays 2 for 21 with runners in scoring position. I believe it was in the 3-game sweep by the Mets. Kevin 5 for 11 tonight. George Springer 3 2-out RBI singles. You mentioned Andres Jimenez, 2 stolen bases factored into that as well. A couple of base running plays. The Jays got caught in that timing play with Springer, and then the slide interference on Allen Roden. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in that game tonight. There really was. It was, you know what it was? It was a typical April game in Fenway, with the weather being the way it is, and just weird stuff is going to happen.
Yeah, you shortchanged them a little bit. They were 6 for 13 with runners.
6 for 13.
Position.
Sorry.
Yeah. But again,
5 for 11 U.S., 6 for 13 Canadian.
There you go. Well, look at you
there
all over it, man. So, trying to outsmart everybody. Hey, look, this is exactly what you do on the road. When you're coming off a sweep, you're not hitting homers. This small ball thing where it's getting them on, stealing the base, having the hot hitter. Give John Snyder credit. right? He moved Springer up in the order.
Springer up, yep.
Right? I mean, Kirky's sort of not getting it done. You know, those big-time at-bats. You move a guy up who's having better at-bats. I mean, it worked. It was genius, right? I mean, you could tell that he's giving Jimenez the green light whenever you get on. Dude's not paying attention till you get good jumps.
Boy,
right?
Jimenez is a good player.
Absolutely.
He is really a good player.
Yeah, it's the rodent. It's like the when he got Bregman out, right? It's the ball off the wall. Give Roden credit for not tapping his glove. You know, a lot of dudes, when they pick the ball up to tap the glove, what's that do? That allows the runner to gain more ground. Normally the guy's safe because you're tapping your glove. He didn't do that. He picks the ball up. He throws it. You know, it's that little short hop. Jimenez picks it, makes the tag where he has to make it. Like, it's just little things like that when you're not, right, hammering baseballs all over the place. You got to make the place you're supposed to be making. And, you know, this is sort of what you have to do. They grinded out this win, which is, you know, when you're going on the road against the team that everybody's picking. I got a buddy that says the Red Sox are going to run away with the division. When you're facing that kind of team, you got to grind some wins out, and give the Blue Jays credit. They did that.
Russ in New Jersey, you're on Blue Jays Talk. What's up, Russ?
Russ.
Good evening, guys. How are you? You know, I just want to talk about the Guerrero thing. You know, it's a good day. You know, yet you sign a guy. I definitely felt in the off season, and I can't tell you for sure because I don't know any of the players that didn't sign, but I'm sure there were some guys that said, "Listen, I don't know if he's going to be here in a year from now. What's going to be with this team?" You know, some players at that point in their career when they're free agents, they want to go to winners and they want some stability and they want to know besides the money that that they'll be there. So. I think it's a good thing that Blue Jays showed money for good players, and I don't think anybody could look down on this. If they overpaid him a little, if they didn't, we'll find that out. But it's definitely a good thing, and you know how this works. All the players it's a little boys club, and they all know each other. And I think the Blue Jays made a statement today that we'll pay a player. And I think that definitely helps down the road.
Yeah, Russ, thanks for the call. It is interesting because I was thinking about this today and watching the game. And, it's important to get if you pay attention to anything that had been happening with Juan Soto and Shohei Ohtani and Roki Sasaki and Corbin Burns, who, the Jays had the best offer out there for Corbin Burns. It's important that they get a deal across the line. And I just think because, you think about fans, you think about the industry, let's face it. Anytime we'd heard that the Jays were quote unquote finalists or, as Ross Atkins would say, we're just happy to have a seat at the table, we just kind of rolled our eyes. If you're not first, you're last, right? Basically.
There you go.
And, I think that it was vitally important that they got this across the line for that particular reason. Now, and I will say this, I do believe Vlatty probably left about $50 million on the table by signing this contract. Not that I think he's going to particularly, I think he'll manage to make that up somehow. But yeah, Russ is right. It's a good day. It's a good day. Anytime you get a deal like that done, it's a great day. Now the attention, I was going to say the attention turns to Bo Bichette, but I don't even think that's the case. It's not that I don't think people care whether or not Bo signed. I think signing Vlatty suggests to people that if Bo doesn't sign here, it'll probably be because Bo doesn't want to sign here.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think everybody's happy that the big boy was signed. Now, I'm not sure. I have no idea if signing Vlatty matters to any free agent. You mentioned Corbin Burns. He wanted to go to the West Coast. He wasn't coming here.
I was saying
wasn't
no.
Ohtani wasn't coming here. The big name guys, right? They're either going to come here or they're not. You missed my
point. I was saying that it was important to get that deal done because they hadn't been able to get any other deals done. I'm not saying that's
he's homegrown.
I'm not going to say it's going to make. It's going to make guys more apt to sign here. Although I do find it interesting that Anthony Santander signed here, and I'm sure he must have, at spring training at one point said, "Oh my God, am I going to end up finding myself in a lineup with Nathan Lucas hitting in front of me and whoever hitting behind me. So it's money in term that gets players here. Where I think it can make a difference. Where I think it can make a difference is if this team has some success with Vlatty. Then I think it can make a difference, and maybe it turns this into a location that is especially conducive or especially attractive to Latino players. It's entirely possible that happens as well. But it's is this going to mean that every top level free agent is going to sign here? Not necessarily. But you know what? I also think it means the Jays don't necessarily have to go after every top level free agent. They don't have to go after Kyle Tucker in the offseason. They don't get Kyle Tucker. They can find another way to address the lineup. So that to me is the biggest thing, is they've got a little bit of certainty going forward here. I mean, you know who your number 3 or number 4 hitter should be. And they haven't had that. You haven't had that for a while here.
Yeah, that's fair.
Shlomo in Scarborough.
Hey, guys. Excited that we have a good day to talk about. I really liked your thought today, Blair. Just really brought some level-headed thinking about the Vlad deal when you put it down to the percentage of the cap and compared it to Delgado. But that's not what I'm calling about. I want to talk about Mark Shapiro. I feel like this guy just gave us a master class on rebranding himself with the fans. He set it all up perfectly. He did a long-form podcast with one of the big Jays, fan-driven podcasts, Gate 14, and he showed a different personality inside of himself, and he's been interacting on Twitter with fans. And it's just good to see. He totally flipped a 180, because the fans have been really hard on this front office, and nobody thought this deal was getting done after the deadline. And we saw him completely rebrand. And, thinking back, I don't think I've ever seen an executive in this city do something like this, just totally change the persona and even the way he's been interacting lately. You saw even in that press conference before when it didn't get done with Vlatty, that was the most honest we saw him had fans. And I just wanted to give him his props. He's done a great job humanizing himself to the fan base. And
I'm not certain. I mean, we'll need to see what role he played in the signing. My thought is that this was probably done well above him. I just find it odd that all of a sudden this got done.
Yeah.
And these things are never linear to begin with, but, I need to, once this thing is formally announced, I think we'll get a better idea of how it transpired and who did what. I'm doing an article on sportsnet.ca for tomorrow. I'm interested in seeing who ran the anchor leg in this. I tend to think that, I look back to the Jose Bautista contract, his last contract here. That was basically done by ownership. I mean, Mark basically, he didn't want to get it done, and that was done by ownership. So it'd be interesting to see how this transpired in the end. But I will say this: I do think that. My first takeaway from that news conference Mark did in spring training was that he was talking like a guy who thought he was going to be here for a while. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's going to be as president of the Blue Jays or president of some sort of, super, sports conglomerate that will have MLSE and the Blue Jays and, the Rogers Center and MLSE and whatever else involved in it. But yeah, he's sounding like a guy who thinks he's going to be here. And I think the thing is too, most of the dissatisfaction, I think, has been with Ross Atkins, because I think the thinking on the part of a lot of people is that, a lot of the moves that haven't worked out are those kind of, signing Brandon Belt or bringing Justin Turner in or things like that. I think a lot of people just kind of assume that was done at Ross Atkins level more than Mark's level. I mean, I think having to put the finishing touches on the Rogers Center refurbishment, honestly kind of gave Mark cover for 2 years, because it was easy for him to say, I'm busy worrying about the ballpark. The other stuff isn't mine. But look, it's safe to say that I think people feel differently about this organization now than they did yesterday, and the major reason for that is they got something across the finish line.
Agreed.
That's the biggest thing. Thanks for the call, Shlomo. 416-870-0590, *590. 1-888-666-0590. Kevin, I know you. I mean, you're out and about. You talk to people. I